but he's here.
Yep. All right, sorry, Tyler. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Oh, yep. Sorry, Taylor. I also needed to talk to John, but I never got a chance to. But hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm running behind, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. For some reason, I also thought tonight was 7:30, so that's my bad anyway. But all right. And John, I'll message you on that stuff if it becomes relevant in the session, which it might. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. There's like a band playing outside of my house, guys. By the way, sorry, that's going to be annoying, but. All right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do the recap, I guess, and then we can get started. I'll get everything else up.
All right. So, last session began with us trekking upwards to the second story of Nandar Keep. Up there, we found a room with 6 skeletons, which seemed to be hundreds of years old. The room seemed to be a last stand, with some holding hands while others died with weapons in their hands. The only magic item of note on the entire floor was a scroll scribed with words that we could not read. Henri cast Detect Language to tell that on the scroll was written the words Cloud, Smash, Evil, Stone, Separated, Evil Artifact, Smudge. Henri also cast Identify so that she was able to tell the scroll was a focus for a ritual that acted like teleportation circle, with the other side leading to the corresponding scroll. We had no idea where the other scroll was, but it seemed to be in another world or plane. We did not attune to it and instead put it in the bag of holding. We also found a magical glass wall, which was undetectable from the outside, perched in the front of the castle, looking over the entire town. It could give whoever was in the room a perfect vantage point and allow them to see through walls of buildings. It was incredibly ornate and well-made, uncharacteristic for the keep. We went to the roof to find it was also ransacked, but had a single rod used in communication and defense. For when Grin kicked it, he was shot 10 feet back and zapped with a decent amount of lightning damage. We regrouped, not having found anyone in the tower or anyone else in town. We decided as a group to head back to Daggerford and see if we could get into contact with either Brother or Karsus. With the trail having gone cold in Nightstone, we doubled back. On our first night on the road to Daggerford, Henri copied the spell sending from Lucia's spare spellbook. In the morning, we resumed our travels, and in a few hours, we were greeted by the still abandoned streets of Daggerford. Kino used the summoning stone on Karsus while Henri cast her first sending to Brother. Karsus responded to our message with an almost inaudible "I'll talk to you later," while Brother said that he was in the land of the Purple Dragon underground, marginally safe, and could travel west if needed. We circled around the eastern side of the town, found a building by the port that was clear of all items and was staged to look organized and somewhat lived in. We were able to get an up close look at the docks because the city wall was built uh, sort of up, locking them out from the rest of the city. The session ended with us investigating the docks and Kino stepping onto the biggest boat before she heard it splinter and slowly sink into the water. Underwater, Abel investigated the hull to see it was scored by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of tiny cuts that caused it to crumble as soon as anyone stepped aboard it. The entire group took cover and hid in a nearby house as we heard the deafening crash the ship made, and Kino peered out the window as Abel watched from underwater. And Abel recognized a set of giant crystalline wings gently breaking the top of the water, almost undetectable. As a monstrous entity, it began to investigate the boat. And after a minute, Kino's eyes glowed.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, I saw that we lost all our maps again. What the fuck? That is the case, right? When people go in, they only see the map now because I put it in. Is that correct?
I do see Daggerford now, but it was a dungeon before.
It was a dungeon?
Yeah,
What the
we
hell?
were on the dungeon from Goodby.
You were. So what on earth? Hold on. Okay. Because to me, I've lost every single map again. But all right. I'm just re-putting this one in, by the way. Just give me 1 second. This is strange though. Hold on. Yeah, it strangely said the owner of the maps is no longer accessible or something, but hold on 1 second. I just need to get the map just into a little bit smaller with a grid, so hold on. See if this works. That's close enough. I think here. Go ahead and try to reload the map, guys, and see if the token is smaller now. Hopefully it's much, much smaller. Yep. So cool. Awesome. All right. That is the right placement too. Everyone recollects they were, for the majority around that part. Abel, you are still underneath the docks, correct?
On my screen, there's no minis.
You really have to.
There's a little tiny token down by the
Yeah,
house.
it's
behind you.
small.
There it
It's
is.
really, really small. Yeah, yeah. That's just the placeholder one. Do you guys still have your tokens, by the way? Can you see if you still have them? Because I don't see any
Yeah.
tokens either. Yeah. I don't know why this keeps happening. This is so strange.
I put mine down.
Okay, cool. Did you have to put it in though, Tyler, or was it there?
Mine was
I
back there.
re-put it in.
Yeah, I have all the ones I uploaded too.
You do? Okay, awesome. All right, good.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to work on this tomorrow, all the other stuff. Okay. I will get the overworld map together. If
Does
we need
anybody
it as
have
well
Ennui's
too.
mini? There she is.
Let me see if I can actually put the grid on too. I might actually be able to show you guys a grid as well. Maybe not. It's okay if not though. Let's see. I think it's supposed to show you a grid now, but I don't see it. So no one sees a grid, correct?
Yeah, I don't.
No.
All right. I don't necessarily see one either. So hold on one second. Oh, there we go.
Oh, also, Lee, I stepped onto the bigger boat, uh, just right of the port label.
It's cool. The grid is like, yeah, it's okay. It's not gonna. That's all right though. Okay. All right. Yeah, the grid's only on the top of the screen in like a small section, so it won't work. That's all right though. All right, so you still see so Tyler, you still have like roughly the presence location, which is right here.
Okay.
And then we can literally start from you guys hiding inside the house.
I'm gonna see if now that I have the presence, I'm gonna see if I can actually see it underwater and see if it's going after Abel.
I know you cannot. Yeah, you're not able to see it underwater.
Okay.
What you guys like
So
to do? Yep.
do we in the house know what's happening to Abel? I missed that part.
No, as a matter of fact, Abel doesn't have any kind of uh, like Abel. You don't see yourself as in dire straits or anything. You don't see yourself in danger at this time. So
I mean, Anu's gonna, if there's no immediate danger, then Anu's gonna like check out immediately outside the house, and if there's nothing, she's gonna like slowly walk out.
I'm gonna stop her.
Yeah.
Just
no, it's not after you, Abel. It is. There's nothing after you. Yep. No, and by the way, the only thing that's actually breaching anything is just the very tips of its wings, and it's very hard to see that from the water. Underwater, there's nothing there, Abel. You don't see anything.
We can't leave Abel out there.
Kino, should you go talk to it? It's kind of your people, right?
You know, I assume that you have told everyone that there's something out there. That's
yeah, there's a big dragon out there.
What kind of dragon?
I suppose I can. Do we want to reveal our positions?
I mean, if it's not attacking us, maybe it's friendly.
It's a
Do we-
possibility.
Can we see
A
what
slow
kind
one.
of dragon it is?
you guys can't. You don't
It's,
know. Yeah.
It's a crystal one.
Now, no one here has probably heard of a crystal dragon before. You've heard of like white dragons, but that's different.
Where does a crystal dragon fall on the alignment scale?
This one seems to be kind of neutral.
You can tell them the honest truth if you wish to, which is they are mostly chaotic good, but obviously every dragon, like every person, is different.
Yeah, I'll say that, but this one seems to be a little more neutral.
Can we tell
Line.
if it's like young, adult, and ancient?
You would
Yeah.
guess it's ancient. You would guess it by the size. It must be ancient.
Okay.
I think we should go in with peaceful intentions.
That's true too.
obviously.
What April said. Yep.
I think that if it's going to be hostile, us hiding in this house isn't going to matter anyway.
Okay, but let me do the talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And weapons away.
Okay.
Shall I go now?
Let's go.
Are we all
Okay.
going or just Kino?
Just let me go.
Oh, okay.
I will stand outside the house so that they can still see me. I don't know if
Yeah,
like there
that's
is
fine.
good.
Yep.
Just so that they can see me.
Yep.
I will put my shield on my back, sword away.
People see Kino's token or just a question mark?
We
Do
can
you not see my
Kino's.
token?
I can.
I actually cannot. That's fine though. It's fine. No worries. Yeah, I see a question mark, but that's all right.
Huh, okay. Abel, I
All
just
right.
want to confirm you're not talking, right? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, leaves.
Wait, did he
yeah.
just talk?
No, I think that
No.
was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because you said that he
No,
talked
he's
before and I didn't hear him talk, so I want to make sure it's not my Discord fucking up.
typing in chat.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
I will stand up a little bit straighter. And look out at the boat. Look out. Maybe seeing if Abel's around here.
Yep, this is the general location of the dragon that you know of. You just can't see it.
And
to it.
I will stand there and sort of just scan the water. Seemingly friendly. Just trying to make myself look.
Yep, you're out by the beach, so where your miniature is, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not walking out onto the docks or anything.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I get near the door just in case I have to run out there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Grin. This is a
guess-
gargantuan base, by the way. So it's very large.
Wait, what is?
The dragon. That only Kino knows this, but yeah.
Kino, go talk to it.
I will slowly walk up the beach and stand right there. I'll just wait. If there's a rock, I'll sort of sit on it.
All right. after you, so you wait and wait and wait. You wait for around 30 minutes and still nothing.
Wait, you said we waited for 30 minutes in the house?
No, this is Kino outside going through, but I'm saying even if you wait for around 30 minutes, nothing will happen. Because Kino says he's waiting.
I'll at about 30 minutes. I'll just kind of call out hello out into the water in Draconic.
Okay. If you say it loud enough, you will still hear nothing. There's no stirring or anything. You have the general location, but you don't hear like any response to you.
In that 30 minutes, has Abel moved at all?
Yeah, Abel, that's a good question.
Because I'm focusing on his location just as much as I am on the dragons.
Yeah, Abel, what have you done for the last 30 minutes, I guess? Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I know Abel went to inspect the ship after it kind of crumbled. So I'm assuming unless because I can't see him move underwater. I'm just assuming eventually he's gonna show up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you do see Abel at some point. Abel has to take a breath. He says at 55 minutes. So um, that would be all. So Abel, I think, is still decided to stay at the docks to just look around and do all that. So he's still there.
If at any point I see him surface or come aboard the docks, I'm just gonna motion him over.
Okay.
He says he will join you when he's invited.
All right, so I will, yeah, assuming Abel walks the docks over and walks next to me.
Well, are you able to talk now? Did he get back in Discord?
He joined in the call, but he's not talking.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
No voice.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So if Abel comes back to you, so the dragon has not made any kind of advancement towards you, Kino.
Well, if Abel comes back to me, I will say that it's probably a good idea for everyone to sort of reconvene and and I'm saying this quieter, obviously, than when I was saying hello into towards the dragon.
And by the way, almost every single dragon you released, all the ones you remember off the top of your head at the very least, are all ancient dragon. They're all large, ancient,
Yep.
powerful dragons. Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't think I've told anyone that yet.
No, that's just for you personally. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I will. And also, out of character, I
Brother would also
remember.
know that. By the way, brother would also know this anyway. He went through the book, if you remember. Every single one that he released was also the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Elda saying there were some secret entrances that she learned about from her time in Daggerford that were connected to the sewers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember out of character the exact locations of them.
She never actually told you guys. So she never had a chance to tell you. She told you that they were over in the town square, but like you guys weren't in there, so she never gave you any kind of like
Exactly.
details or
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
But anyway, I will tell Abel that we should meet up with everyone and figure out what happened. And I will have him. I'm gonna sort of bring up the rear as we walk back towards the house.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah,
And,
nothing happens. You can walk back safely.
yeah, and as I walk away, I'm just gonna kind of look back towards the ocean and just kind of nod and say thank you again in Draconic.
Okay.
So how'd it go? Did you talk to the dragon? Did you make friends?
I tried talking to it, but it didn't talk to me.
Oh.
I mean, sometimes no news is good news.
Should we not try harder to talk to it, or should we just let it go?
I think that there's a time and a place to sort of assert your presence somewhere. I think now is not. I think if the dragon wanted to talk to us, they would have. So,
This is a crystal dragon, and it's outside a city wherein everyone inside was turned
Crystal.
into crystal.
yes.
These two things are maybe connected.
And Kino, one of the things that you do know for sure is that crystal dragons, when they stand very, very still, especially when they're underwater or whatever, are mostly invisible. And so it's very possible that it would be completely motionless as its kind of true nature anyway, just to make sure that it remains that way. They're really only visible when they walk or move, but its true nature is to stand very, very still. They're actually very comfortable standing incredibly still to the point that they don't look like they even need to breathe or anything like statues. You would know this from your ability.
Yes, I will let everyone know that. Um yeah.
Out of character also, just because this is coming up now with Crystal, do you remember any of the other gem dragons that you released? It's okay if you don't. I can refresh you when they're relevant, but on the top of your head, do you
I
remember?
looking at the list, I think
Yeah,
the only other one I had was Sapphire. Hold
that's
on.
right. That is
Yeah.
correct. It's Sapphire. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And I'm assuming this one is not a Sapphire dragon.
Correct. Correct. For whatever reason, through when you were releasing all of them, you did not get, and this is what you're starting to learn now because you released the crystal. For whatever reason, some of the dragons that you released personally, you don't actually remember. It's a magical effect of the Electrum book that you were going through. So this is one of those dragons. There's certainly going to be more. But I never gave you the crystal dragon list specifically, and it's
Yeah.
because and you're starting to realize this too. You now vaguely remember the fable, but for whatever reason you don't remember this one. And there are certainly going to be others that are going to be that way too. So you released more dragons than you think you released.
Good to know.
Same thing with brother.
So what's the play here, group? Are we doing something about Daggerfern? Because I feel like if we're going to do anything, it's going to involve this dragon. The whole crystal thing is too much of a coincidence. Or do we just let this go? I don't have any connection to Daggerford specifically, and I understand that taking on a dragon is kind of above our abilities.
I think we can do it.
I would advise
I-
against it, especially one that is this powerful. And honestly, its intention seemed good.
If its
So
intentions are good, why did it turn a town into crystal?
We don't know that yet.
I would say if we reached out to it, it would be beneficial to learn about what happened. That's one of the reasons I wanted to sort of interface with it. But I think it's worth going into town anyway, because albeit sometimes the simplest answer is the best one. I think there's more going on here than simply dragon takes over town, turns people into crystals.
What kind of breath weapon does a crystal dragon have?
One that blinds you.
So not one that turns you into a crystal.
No, I don't think it I mean, it might, but
Yeah.
I don't think it has the capability.
One of the other things that fighting a crystal dragon out in the open in daytime is a nightmare because of the fact that it's also incredibly reflective, and not only will the breath weapon potentially blind you, Kina, you know this, but it's also got a natural dazzling, blinding property that will just make it kind of a mess. You kind of have to like close your eyes because what'll end up happening is the sunlight will continuously dazzle you while you're fighting it.
I don't
It
want to.
literally reflects pure sunlight and all kinds of other magic nonsense. So
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't want to fight this thing to begin with, but I think even if we wanted to, we could not. Grin. So keep
yeah,
that in mind.
if you wanted to fight it, you would know keynote nighttime is a much better time. And if it's a full moon, it's still gonna suck, but nighttime is a much better time. Or inside where there's no sun is a much better time to fight these things than the daytime.
So are we going to go into Daggerford?
I would like to.
Okay.
Or underwater. Yeah, underwater would be easier too. That's right, Mabel.
Grin is
Yeah.
going to leave this little building and head towards the gate there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
If
So Grin, it's totally silent, so you can walk right up to the gate.
if the dragon moves at all while we're doing this, I want everyone to stop. I'll alert everyone, and I'm just going to keep them posted as to the dragon's location.
Sure. Sure. Yep.
And I will walk up with Grin, give him aid
Okay.
if he needs it. Also, checking for obvious traps.
Okay.
So what kind of gate am I looking at?
All right. So it's a large steel gate. And the outsides are made of pure stone. The gate itself doesn't have any wood at all. The hinges are fastened really
Testing.
well. Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. I
Yep.
don't know what the hell that was. That was a
Cool.
random reset. Okay.
All right, cool. Uh the So this one's a little tougher. You won't be able to just bash your way through this one. It's much too sturdy. But this is also a made out of like a bleached granite stone. So you could climb it. It's tough, but you could definitely climb it. And with climbing gear, it's not so bad. It's
Yeah,
only 30 feet high.
climbing is definitely better than trying to break through stone.
Yeah.
So I will
Stone and
try
metal,
that.
yeah. Okay, you want to try to climb up the part of it in the battlements? Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
All
gonna.
right.
I'm actually gonna stop Grin before he tries that because I think he can, but I think the move here is stealth for the time being. Is Orion still in the house?
It looks like it. Henri and Orion are still
Yeah.
in the house. Yeah.
I'm gonna point towards the house, and I'm gonna cast message, and I'm going to ask Orion if he has the capability of wild shaping for the day. Maybe we could use that to climb one of the towers.
For a few hours, yeah, I could land you right inside one of the squares.
That's good too. I was actually gonna say, like, see if you could get in with like something that can climb that's small and stealthy, and maybe we can release, not the gate, but one of the doors from the inside or anything besides,
Yeah.
the main. I think lowering the entire gate's not the move.
There are guard doors that are also made out of metal on each side, but they only open one way. They're made to be reinforced, but you could of course open them from the inside.
Yeah, I will ask if he could do that.
Something small and stealthy.
It just has to be strong enough. You would know that those guard things are purposely made with springs to be tough to open. You have to be really strong to open them, so keep that in mind if you're going to do the guard door route.
All right, then I will join the rest of them at the gate. And I will be shaped into an ape.
Okay.
I will see if there's like an alcove or something to hide in, so I'm just not standing in the middle of the drawbridge, just kind of, tapping my foot on the ground.
And it cut out. What are you shaping it to?
An ape.
An ape. Okay, cool. Yep.
Just careful about standing in groups.
Yep.
Think
Yep.
about breath weapons.
Yep.
And I will, I guess, ascend the wall and see if I can get around to open one of the guard doors.
Okay. Yeah, I mean you can pretty easily as an ape just climb it, so don't bother rolling for now. So you want to go around, so you want to climb this. What exactly do you want to do?
So
Why
you're
are you
seeing
climbing? Yep.
one of the guard doors to the left and right of like the portcullis.
Sorry, so the guard doors are actually small little doors here and here, but you can climb this smaller wall, or you can decide to climb the main building. This is actually a watchtower where there would be guards stationed there to basically fire arrows off if guards were there. And then you can go all the way around in here. This will just have normal doors that are obviously not reinforced. And you can go through this building, and inside is where you can open up these two doors.
Oh yeah, I'd probably try that. Then I go over the smaller side wall and opt for speed over height and try to get through those doors as quick as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, if you go over this wall here, you don't see anyone in town. It's actually completely empty. You do see a bunch, by a bunch, I mean like 3 or 4 flyers on the ground. But if you bypass those and go through the the building here, you're able to pretty easily at least take the springed release and open up the door on this side if that's what you'd like to do.
I'd probably grab one of the flyers on the way and head to the
Okay.
door.
You can.
And I would open up the smaller guard door for them.
Sure.
Okay, I usher everyone in.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll be the last one in.
Henri's just kind of staring out at the water. Just
I
disappointed.
whistle for Henri.
Sure.
Come on.
Her head just whips around. She just starts running over towards Grin.
It's like a kid at the beach.
I guess if it appears that you're waiting outside, then I'll start sauntering over with the defender, trying to space things out just in case we draw the wrong side of our attention.
Yeah.
Okay, we all go in.
All right. Give me 1 second too, guys. I just want to make sure that I do get the details right on the flyer.
Is there a locking mechanism on the inside of the door?
No, so once you shut the door, it locks automatically. And it's only one way. It only opens one way. It's made to close, and once it closes, it locks automatically.
Okay, can I find a way to prop this door open reliably?
Yes, it's just difficult, but you could do it, Abel. So to prop the store open reliably, you need a piece of steel, and you're going to need to like build something hastily to fasten it to make sure that the tension between the door and the steel, of course, gets there. It would have to be some kind of like triangle with some kind of fasteners on both ends to make sure that they dig into the door in a well enough way. You could do this. It's just going to take a couple minutes though.
Okay.
You'll just have to
Um,
use whatever resources you have and take them out. Like you're gonna obviously lose it for now, but a steel beam with some either some wood or metal fasteners, and you'd have to like
Mhm.
build it together. Is that what you like to do?
yeah, definitely.
All right,
I
so
will.
Abel's gonna take 10 minutes to hastily try to put something together that he thinks will fit. So you guys see him kind of frantically getting that together.
What about like a brick? Just like a brick to make sure
It's
the
not,
door doesn't
you
close
can
on
do
me.
it, but there's no guarantee. So you can do a
There,
brick.
there,
The reason why
there
Abel's
is
doing that,
not enough strong enough
yeah,
word for how disappointed he is in you for that
yeah, yeah. So Abel
idea.
knows that a brick may end up
My
working. A
grin is
brick might
showing.
work, but there is a chance that if it just gives a little bit, it's going to flick inside, door will slam shut. So
I mean, I was gonna ask if we could just break the locking mechanism.
you totally
Oh,
could do
that's
that
even
as well. It's
worse.
just really strong. Yeah, you'd have to be really strong, but you could do it.
Oh, I
Or lots of damage.
apologize to Abel.
Yeah.
I figured I'd ask. I know what you.
I got this, and for what it's worth, I think Grin's idea would probably be the better option.
I
little
give
salted.
Kino the smuggest look.
Oh no, I have no idea who those people are. Oh my god, I have no idea who those people are with me. Yeah, no, I think they broke into your city. I'm by myself.
Stop.
An
Stop
empty
making
city.
Henri big. Stop it.
That's not me.
I don't know. I'm saying stop it to whoever who's doing it. Stop.
It's not me.
I almost
Yeah.
spit coke
Yep.
all over my computer.
All right.
That's suddenly large honor.
So the flyers are all the same. When you see the ape handed to you, he picks up two of them, but when you look outside, they're all the same. They're thrown around. It's they're advertisements to the Witchlight Carnival. Apparently it's already come through here.
Monkey. I will take the flyer and I will read it.
Yep. All right. So it says, "Come ye, come all to the Witchlight Carnival. See amazements like no other. You have been offered a glimpse into a reality in which you will never come back." It does have a price on it. It is 1 gold to enter the carnival, which is crazy expensive for a carnival. Normally they're in like maybe 1 silver, maybe coppers, because they want as many people to come and they make money off the games. And so 1 gold is a lot of money to see. It talks about the carnival obviously being outside of town. The carnivals never ever come in town. They're always going to be outside. The date was from 3 months ago, so it's come and gone at this point. It does not have any of the attractions listed or anything, but the artwork shows the carnival coming at night because there's like a nighttime scene with a bunch of there's a bunch of creatures that are painted into it that look fantastical. They don't look human, with lights around the carnival at nighttime. And there's some games that it shows too. The games involve, one of the games involves darts. One of the other games involves children guessing where like a cup is in this like elaborate like cup setup. It looks like they're all goblets. Other than that, it doesn't show anything else. So, out of character for anyone, this is the same Witchlight. Uh, Obviously, the same Witchlight Carnival from the upcoming adventure.
Would I have ever heard of this carnival coming to Daggerford as a kid?
Never. Nope. It only you've had you everyone has heard rumors of this thing, but but the problem is that no one really knows if it exists because it only comes every 8 years and it's very limited. But because of that, there have been stories about this thing that it's like the best, most magnificent, amazing carnival in all of Faerun. But it does only come every 8 years, and it's very limited in where it goes. So a lot of people have taken that to mean that, oh, it's not real or it's a fable, or people just make it up. Like kids will tell other kids they've been to it to brag, but they've never really gone to it, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But here's the flyers, so it's real.
And it doesn't have a
There's no
location.
rumor, and there's no rumor of it turning people to crystals or anything like that. So, nope, it doesn't have a location. it's pretty obvious that when the fair comes, you'll know, kind of thing. And so that was a precursor to the fair coming. It looks like somehow they have found a way to like get them a heads up. By the way, this is better art than you've ever seen a flyer. It's painted, hand painted, as a matter of fact. Each flyer is hand painted. It's a little different. Each one is a little different seen on the art, but the same kind of art. It's all the same scene, just a tad different because they're hand painted, and they all have the same message.
Well, I will definitely take one of those flyers.
Okay.
Just because there's so many, can I just briefly study the differences in a couple of them and see if there's any
Yeah, of course.
pattern to
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, you can take it for a little bit and do that. You don't have to roll or anything. Just we'll take your time and look through it. But that's yeah. Um, other than that, though, the streets are empty. So
So I know the town from, a while ago. What are we looking for specifically? I mean, I guess we want to stay clear of those crystal guys, or do we want to capture one, or?
Like keep
so
it as a
far, you
pet.
don't see any. By the way, you don't see any. No crystal people. Um, Yep, you do see. Um, so Abel, you see obviously and you remember these. These are the entrances to basically the water reservoirs, and underneath the water reservoirs is going to be the aqueducts underneath. But these are
Mhm.
just huge repositories of water for the time being. Um,
I mean, if we're able to navigate waters, we could go into any of those cistern-looking things in the field,
yep,
and
and
they
this is
travel
the old
underground.
shipbuilder's house. This is a massive building. Inside are going to be like ships that people are working on or have been working on. And then the other building that's closest to you, this 25, is just a bunch of stables. This is for the royal. These are for like the guards, the horses, everything else. They fit into the castle. So the army's horse reserve essentially is in building 25.
Okay. I mean, do we want to just start checking these buildings out?
It might be a good idea. I think maybe one, and then we head towards the. Alda said it was the market, correct? The marketplace had
Yeah.
the.
Yep.
I think it would be good if we.
Somewhere within the marketplace, but you don't know exactly where. Yeah.
I mean, there's some tighter roads and stuff weaving through the cities. Like if the dragon appeared, we could keep it into a building anyway.
Yeah, the only other thing
Yeah.
too is if you do make it all the way to the market, you're probably bound to run into at least one of the crystal things.
Mhm.
However, if you were to beeline it to the castle, you might have better luck to not involve crystal things, unless there's all kinds of crystal things within the castle.
Mhm. Do we want to run into a crystal thing or not?
I think the move here is stealth. I think we have to do this as stealthily as possible and not make our presence known. And if we do encounter a crystal thing, we deal with them quickly.
Like, mhm.
Okay. So which building did you guys want to try to get into first?
Would
Probably the
I
nearest one, right?
nearest
Already-
one might be good. Would I have been in any of these buildings from when I was a kid? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all recent. I mean, they're all like familiar. I shouldn't say recently. They're all familiar to you.
All,
You've
before
been to most of them.
it occurs to me, if these crystal things are just patrolling,
Yep.
are they leaving tracks? Are they leaving like really regular tracks where they're patrolling?
So fascinatingly, when you start looking around to see tracks, you don't see any right now. They should. They're heavy enough that they would leave tracks, but you don't see any around you.
I'll
That's
point
a
that
good
out that
question.
Interesting. So no one, seemingly nothing's been walking around unless there's some sort of effect at play, magic.
As
I
soon
guess
as
they
we
could
get,
blow dust around or something.
as soon as we start moving forward, I'm going to cast a divine sense.
Nothing on your ping. Nothing celestial fiends. Any of the consecrated, desecrated.
All right. Yeah, I would say. Would I know what kind of fortifications the keep has here?
Well, you would know that you would definitely know that the inside fortifications are mostly the walls and of course the guards. So it has a couple. So first and foremost, there's an outer wall, and if the town was ever breached, there would be guards along the wall and in each of these towers. Oh crap! That went through and sorry guys, it looks like it. It's okay. That basically so there's guards in each tower here, or would be. There's also like an inner area here that also has walls as a last like line of defense, but it would be mostly manpowers and stuff. There is you remember as a kid when you were here seeing that there was um ballistas like that the guards had to manually move out, and they would do that in ceremonies. They've never had to use them since you've been there. So there are ballistas. There's 4 of them. They're pretty big. Other than that, though, there's no real like actual like automated defenses.
Maybe that's our ultimate goal, but I think we need answers before we try and enter the inner sanctum of the city. So
Yep, I would agree.
I would say maybe we head for the market, but we got to be careful.
Okay.
Do we think
Um,
these crystal people are hostile?
I'm assuming.
Only one way to
They're
find out.
here and the people are gone. So that seems like a bad thing.
So where did you guys want to go first?
I'm gonna suggest that we go south and then cut through South Alley.
Okay. Where is the Modron currently, Abel?
The Modron is tucked away in the bag of holding, or the haversack.
The haversack. Okay.
That's worrying.
I believe he is under repair or restoring or resting or whatever.
All right, so we kind of want to like go here and kind of like cut through here.
Yeah,
Yep.
he has to be in the central pouch, obviously, but that's fine. He's in the central pouch of your haversack. Yep.
We kind of overheated him, and I believe we were letting him rest.
Okay, Grin's gonna lead the charge.
Stealthily charging.
Yeah, right.
I will follow 30 feet back from Grin.
Right.
I'll do tail guard with the defender. So the
As
defender can actually be closer to.
I would like to roll stealth. I mean, I'm at disadvantage with it, but I'd like to.
I was
roll.
gonna say everyone's gonna have to for sure, but
Mhm.
uh but as you breach the outside here, you hear Abel something you've never heard before, an incredibly complicated and somehow somehow foreign to you sound of like clicking automation
Mhm.
coming from within the shipbuilders. You've never ever heard whatever kind of automation. You've heard clockwork automation before because you have the Modron, but this
Mhm.
is on another level of weird.
All right.
Sounds
I'm gonna
like gears
try to
of
hurry to
metal.
catch up to the rest of my party then, because I was at the back of it. Say, wait a second. I think there's something going on in the shipbuilder.
I'll stop.
Can I explain the noise? It sounds quite interesting.
Did
Um,
everyone roll for stealth, by the way? Go ahead and roll for stealth, everybody, while you're.
Sorry.
I roll as the ape, right?
Yep, you roll Z8. Unless you're taking your wild shape down.
So I'm rolling with a disadvantage, so my lesser roll is a 13.
7.
Oh, wait,
Hmm.
sorry.
We don't still. Oh no, never mind. That's the other group. No, wait. I thought is
We
it
do
this
not have
group that we have
password.
password? Okay, we don't. It dropped.
It's 15 for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
10.
7.
7.
What?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean, Kino's gonna be loud.
Henri,
How
on
did
the
you
other
get a
hand, has
7?
no excuse. I rolled a 6.
You're dropping all your books.
Yeah.
A 21 for the defender, natural.
A
Wow.
natural 20.
Defender's doing really good at this. Yep.
Oh, Chris, I texted you like a while ago.
Oh, did you text
It's
me
just
on
a
my phone?
yes. It's more just like a side question, but I just remembered that I texted
Oh
you.
yeah, you did. You did.
Okay.
Yes. And
Just
the
checking.
answer is yes. Yep,
Because
sorry, I didn't even see it.
I'm just trying to find a way to, because I actually forgot, because every time you've asked us what languages we know, I forgot about that. So I need to try and
Yep.
figure out a way to add that to my languages.
Gotcha. Yep. But that is correct. You are right. Yep.
And I get 5 temporary hit points for rolling a nat 20 poison, right? Because of the
Cool.
hourglass.
You is that right? Is it? You
It
might.
says it in
Is
the
it?
item description.
Oh yeah, then that's correct. That is correct. Yep.
Okay. Because
Yep, that is correct.
I was really surprised
Yeah,
because I was
if it's
looking
in
at
the
the
item
description.
if it's in the item description, you absolutely get that. Yes,
Okay.
that is 100% right.
Cool. Okay, yeah, but I rolled 7 for my stealth, so somehow the tiny one is being really, really loud.
And I'm being really, really loud as well.
Yeah, it could very well be your Satyr Dragon, exactly. Like coming out and talking to you, being like, "What's going on? Why are we doing this? Why is everybody being so quiet?" Yep.
So we're
Guys,
gonna check out the shipbuilding building first.
Yeah,
you
let's
might
send
want to
like
go up there. It seems like something's going on in there, and probably something out of the ordinary.
Is there a window we can look in through?
There's not, because it's made, so it's actually made to have no windows. It's just long slats of wood, and it's because and this is common for shipbuilders, but the main shipbuilder was always like paranoid that someone was going to see their internal design. So there's no windows in this thing. You're gonna have to either enter. There's a front and a back entrance. Either one will work, and here, I'll show you. You can go into here, the front entrance, or there's a back entrance too.
I try the door.
All right, it is open. It unlocks for you. All right. As you walk in, you see a very large. Abel, you kind of like gasp. A very large, ornate clockwork machine. I will show it to you. All right, guys, hold on.
Where's this coming?
It's going to be in Discord. For some reason, it's not coming up though. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. Is going on? Hold on 1 second. Here it is. Okay. This is the actual machine, but hold on. The only difference is though is that it's not in the room that it looks like it's in. But hold on one second. So immediately things you notice, it is an orrery. However, it's artisanally made and incredibly complicated. As you walk in, it is the size. It's roughly around 50 feet or so. So really really large. By the way, the ships in this room are all smashed and other things. Maybe to make way for the machine. You're not exactly sure. Abel going through it. You
Okay.
can do a perception check on this in a second.
Mhm.
But this is what the machine looks like. Um, it's going to be in general chat. Hold on. Yeah, this is a much bigger image. Okay. Here you go. You can
Oh
look at
my!
this. So now keep in
Oh,
mind it's
cool.
not, yeah, however, it is not in a wizard's tower where it normally is. So this is just within this area. Now, when you get into there, um uh so you would know this instinctively, you would know this through communication. The
Mhm.
Modron would like to get out.
I will look to it. But right before that I do that, I just look to see if my timepiece seems to be reacting or looks similar to it, and then I will
So
start
this
to.
is the interesting thing. You know that your timepiece is a piece to a magnificent orrery. This you would know this one is not that.
Okay.
However, at the same time, potentially the person who made this orrery might have very well made your timepiece. It's of the same. It's of roughly the same kind of design.
Similar
This
construction.
this one is similar. The art is similar as your
Oh,
timepiece.
wow.
However, this one, Abel, you're
Mhm.
in awe. It's more complicated than even your timepiece.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, what the thing, if you go ahead and pull up the art, the thing that strikes you the most, um, the three large systems in this, these are obviously planetary structures. So the first one you see in front of you, the other one that you see on the left, so there's a left and right, and then there's a large, like, basically mechanism that puts this all together with smaller planets on the inside. Each one of those is an infinitely complex machine in its own right. You
Okay.
can tell just looking at it. This is so complicated that you're actually slightly afraid, because it does look like whatever this is terribly powerful. Um, it is actually beyond your scope of understanding, and it is beyond your current level of craftsmanship or knowledge. And the Modron does want to come out.
Yeah. You've probably seen a look of confusion you might well not have ever seen on his face, and then he just kind of reaches back and pulls the Moldron out and looks at it, and then turns it towards the
The
quarry.
the the Modron, when you release it out of the haversack and sit it down, it like puts its little arms up and goes through, and it actually says in audible tone, "Mechanus." That's all it says, and it raises its hands up.
Is this? That's Mechanus?
It does look to you, and it points to the large ball on the left, which and then it says, "Mechanus." The large ball on the left, so the one that's got the little lights out of, like, looks like it's got lenses, but they're lit up. Yep.
Chris, can I do a divine sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when you do divine sense here, there actually are no celestials, fiends, undead, anything like that. It's not hallowed or consecrated ground. This looks a little celestial to you, Grin, but it's not. It's not. There's no celestials around.
It was a good idea, though.
I looked this up,
I
by the way.
yeah.
Each time that Grin does the divine sense, and each time you do divine sense, you don't get the benefits of it, obviously, but you inherently know one of you has done this. Just as a heads up.
Yeah.
I feel like
Is the
Abel is
main
just sort of kind of mindlessly walking forward to it to study
Yeah,
it from different
it's
angles.
By the way, it is slightly moving. Each one of those gears on the planetary systems moves ever so slightly, slowly, as if it's tracking celestial bodies, if it's tracking like something else as well. In the middle, that sun, that picture of the sun or whatever, as you get closer, the outer rings also move. And as you start looking at it, Abel, you notice that inside of the outer rings, there's little small lights going through each one as it passes, and you realize that each one is a mathematical output algorithm that basically shows not only time, but if you sat down and learned it enough, lots of information. There must be just a bunch of programmatic information between these light rings that it's trying to display on the piece that it's basically sitting on. But it would take it would take you a little while to kind of decode it and figure it out. But there is information output on top of all of this. It's a magnificent piece of work. It's very, very neat.
Henri is
This
actually
was
gonna
not in
be
This was not in Daggerford ever.
um
You would have remembered. So yep.
Yeah, you would
Yep.
definitely say that. Was never here, and please, no one touch at it. I'm concerned about you even looking at it. But
Henri's looking with Abel is what I was gonna say. Because
Yeah,
she's
and he'll
interested in
start pointing
celestial
stuff out
bodies.
to her.
Yeah, so the interesting thing that you see, Henri, is that you kind of also get the same thing. There's information output here. It's complicated and it's like coded, but it's definitely there. And then you start looking around, and maybe you could actually use a machine like this to tell future events potentially. You also think about like all the ways that this machine can get through, and the things that pop into your head are like, what if these are somehow gateways to these planets? What if or places? What if this is There's the other thing that could be here too, is that maybe like this is a huge like control scheme. Whatever it is though, and this, Abel, you notice this as well. Here's the thing: for a magic item, and clearly this is some kind of magic item,
Mhm.
this one is specifically made, and you can tell because it's got a little tiny bit of wear on the gears. You actually see this through your perception.
Hmm.
It must not have been made to be indestructible, and you can't think of a reason why that would ever be the case. Like, most magic items are actually made by the start to be indestructible. This one has to be destructible, and you're not sure why that's the case, but clearly the person who made this didn't make a mistake. It has to be, so which means it's fragile, which means like even if someone were to like blast a piece of magic at this thing, you could ruin it. It's fragile.
I
Grin
would
would like
explain
to
that about how it's
Yeah,
fragile and potentially intentionally so.
yeah,
Grin
Grid?
would like to start going around the building, like making
sure.
sure there's nobody else in here.
Yeah, that's a great thing. So go ahead and make your perception checks first, Grin.
I'm gonna take out the gem of true seeing.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna spend a charge.
The good news is
Uh,
there's no one invisible in here. Grin starts looking around. Grin, you don't see anything. This is what you do start noticing. Give me an investigation check on all these broken ships and everything else.
Um,
Abel, does the fact that it's destructible mean maybe that it's God, what's the word? Can be taken apart and maybe moved?
It's so Abel. This is what you think. You could take it apart, but could you ever put it back together again? And even the thought makes your blood chill. You're like, you can't even imagine breaking this. Yeah, you could take it apart. Could you ever put it back together again? Is the question. You have
I'd
no
need
idea.
to study it more to know how
Yeah.
long it would take me to rebuild it.
I'm sure you
This
could. I just
is-
worry about leaving something like this here. Like if it gets destroyed, that would be really bad.
What if something?
You also think this, Abel. What happens when you do take it apart? You're also terrified of that. What is this doing? What if you start taking it apart and it like vaporizes everyone in the room? Like that. Those are the other things that are
I need
bothering
to
you.
know more about it, and
Yeah.
he's like taking his pearl out. I think I need to like identify it.
If I look at the machine with True Sight, nothing like I don't see any special runes on it or any like weird magic.
So yeah, so that's an interesting thing. When you start looking at the machine with True Sight, nothing has been like written with like glyphs or anything like that that would be invisible. Everything is out in the open in this machine.
Yeah, Abel's effectively asking the Modron the same questions about like, oh, do you see any of this kind of, you know, because he knows he
Yeah.
has True Sight. Do you see any of this? Do you know that?
Yeah, the Modron does
technical
start
stuff.
the Modron does start looking at things, and it's very clear that it's going to take the Modron a little while to go through and process it. The Modron is in the processing mode right now, so
Mm.
what that means is that it's the minute that you ask, it's doing it instinctively. It's going to take. It wants to stay here for an hour. If you can pick it up
Mhm.
and make it stop, but it's going to be very cranky about it because it really wants to process this.
Okay. I would explain, please do not touch 7472. He needs to process what's going on here. Hopefully he can tell us more. Thank you very much, Grin, for looking around the edges to make certain there's nothing around. I would like to take some time, probably, hopefully not too much, but it probably will be, to study this. And
Yeah.
he is going to start casting, start
Identify.
setting up a ritual identify.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So does everyone want to do anything while that happens?
Yes, actually, in ape form. Well, number one, he's going to drop the ape at this point because he's completely gobstopped by it.
Okay. Yep.
Orion's going
I'm
to
gonna
look
watch
at
it.
the constellation. I
Yep.
guess the constellation makeup and see if it's something that he recognizes.
Well, when you come up and start doing this, go ahead and give me a perception check first, and then we're going to spend
Guidance.
some time as well. Yeah,
Grin
because
would
you're
like
going to be
to.
able to. Yep.
Grin would like to check out the back door to this place, and if it can be locked, he'd like to lock it.
Okay.
A natural
Uh,
20.
It can be perfect. Okay, it can be locked. However, you're gonna have to bar the door. So it's just with like a piece of wood, but it's made to actually have the bar there. And there's plenty of broken ship planks. You can bar the door.
Yeah, he just
All
wants
right.
to minimize the ways into the building.
Yep. So if you pull, so if you go ahead and pull the picture up and start looking at it again, so this is what you notice. These are your best guesses. So Mechanus, from everything you've heard, is the left ball, the larger golden ball with the one that's right in front of us. That one looks like a representation of Faerun. However, you notice that there is the Shadowfell. So if you start looking closest to the sun, the Shadowfell is represented in that black crystal-like ball that's like over the sun on the right side. And then it looks like the Feywild is the copper ball that's represented there as well. You have no idea what that planet is with the ring around it, and you have no idea what the other domains are. But those are your best guesses on representation. You were able to discern that there's Shadowfell, there's Feywild, Mechanus, Faerun. The only reason why you got Mechanus though is of course the Modron helped. But
And
yeah.
and he'd relay that to the rest of the group as he's just sort of like wandering around it.
Yep. Out of character, every single canon realm is represented in this thing that the builder at least knew about. So
I wouldn't be able to do like a
Cool.
history check for like possibly having read about which realm might be which, right?
you could do that. You could try. Yeah. So the reason why the druid was able to get the Feywild and the Shadowfell is because that he has a very specific like interest in not only celestial bodies but just the celestial like things in general, as do you. So go ahead and do like a struggle check to see if there's anything else that you can glean.
No. I'm rolling
14?
very poorly tonight.
Well, however, you are able to like. Do you share that information?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the Shadowfell and the Feywild are on there, you are able, Henri, to know for certain that there must now be at least 4, but you think probably 6 realms that exist within your cosmology outside of all these other realms. So if you look at the picture, we have Shadowfell, Feywild, closest to the sun. We have the larger body, not sure what that is. You have the ringed body, and then you have a floating golden body on the outside there. You have another one with a ring that goes horizontally. You have another like body that's up above that. But then right by Mechanus, there's also a planetary body with another moon that might also be another thing there. So there's a good amount of like this. If this is true and right, and so far it looks like it is, uh, this opens up your personal world, Henri, to more places for sure. Like now you know the other worlds really exist. Like you always knew from having brother out there, one of these must be Eberron. However, there's even worlds outside of Eberron and Abel's place. Abel, the interesting thing.
Ravnica's in there?
No, that's the interesting thing. When you look at it, you can't imagine any of these being represented as Ravnica. The person who created this probably did not know that Ravnica existed, is your guess.
Mhm.
Which means that this is not a perfect model. But whatever is there is probably real.
What's up?
All right, so as the identify is going through, to your absolute shock, so the identify works. However, the identify also tells you that this is 2,700 magic items altogether. You will need to identify all 2,700 pieces in order for you to understand this machine. You can start though at the very beginning and go through it, and we can go through it. I actually have a list of 2,700 items, by the way. A lot of them are like mixed up the same shit, but for the most part, it's time now. It's just going to take a shitload of time. That's how complicated this machine is. Once you've identified all of them, you get the entire like complexity of what this machine does. However, there is another way to also find out how this machine works. Now that you've identified the first piece to it, at the very least, you now have the beginnings of a control mechanism. This is what you get from your very first identify. What you're actually pull up the picture again. What you actually identified is a small substructure piece of the outer ornate ring. Do you see the ring that's got like the little designs on it? This ring alone is 1,000 pieces. It's 1,000 different magic items all placed together. This is the centralized control portion of the entire mechanism, and what it tells you is that on the dial itself, on this marble dial, the way to control the machine is to basically set up reaching out through the weave. You have to do it. You cannot touch any of the mechanisms with the magic command word, which you now know, which is Celeste. You are able to
Celeste is a command word. Yep.
yes, you are able to manipulate the machine to get it starting. Once you get the machine started, it's set to give you specific outputs. This machine will eventually, the one use that you know for sure is that this machine will allow you to traverse worlds. If it's ever destroyed, if this machine is destroyed, the other thing that the Identify tells you is that it will literally obliterate you in this entire town. At least the entire town, maybe more than the entire town. There is so much complicated magic going on here that like if the machine is destroyed, you need to get out of Daggerford. It will bring all of Daggerford with it somewhere else. You might as well be destroyed though.
Mhm.
So this is a dangerous like time bomb thing as well if it were to be destroyed. You can't even imagine why it's here right now. You can't imagine why such a crazy ass machine would be here. You can't even think of why the crystal people are in a town with this thing, obviously, yet. So this is a complication, to say the least. However,
So
you could just
listen to
use
me
it.
carefully, everyone. If this breaks, it's bad for like the whole town, probably even beyond the walls.
Yeah. At least that radius.
Giant boom.
You do think to yourself that it's probably like not gonna like end the world or anything like that, but you would need to get out of town. You would just need
You,
to pursue the town as a write-off and run.
you,
There are
you look over
thousands
it.
of interconnected magic items that could all go potentially poof at once, plus the effects they generate. It would be you need to not be here if it breaks.
Abel
You
can
look
start the
over.
machine though, if you'd like. Abel, you are able now to start the machine if you'd like to.
You look over as you're saying that to us, and Grin is like halfway to touching part of it, and then he just kind of puts his hand back in his pocket.
But now you have the uncomfortable knowledge of knowing that so Abel, these are the things that you, with your amazing intelligence, you think of first and foremost. If we get in a fight in this town and this gets destroyed, we're all dead. If we also if we want to study this and if we want this to be somehow ours or whatever, we need to find a way to like shield it, get it into such where it's like only ours, maybe make it invisible, whatever it takes to make sure that this machine is protected. You also know that uh, whoever made this can't, I mean, wouldn't just leave it. It's very possible that they know exactly where it is and they're coming back to use it. Like that's the other thing that worries you. Like this
This
thing
is
is
here in a
amazing.
my thinking is this is here in a vacated town, so it will be safe and no one will mess with it. So that they can use it when they need to.
Yeah, that's a
Because
good guess.
that's how I would do it.
That's a good guess. Yeah, that is a really good guess. Yeah.
I think I know how to turn it on and make it work. I'm not 100% on what it does.
I think that might be a bad idea.
So this is the second magical thing we found in a deserted town.
Yep.
Abel, can you ask questions to the Modron about it after the hour?
You could. You think you could.
Probably. I
You
think
just
it
don't know
should
if it's
have a
gonna hurt the
deeper
Modron or not.
understanding of it.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
it
at the very
like
least, it's got.
explodes itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's doing a lot of hard work for itself right now, I think.
Oh, by the way, the identify also tells you if this is attuned to anyone else. It is currently not attuned to anyone else. You have no idea what would happen if you attuned to such a device because, again, this is one piece of 2,700 pieces of magic items, but this piece is not attuned. That's one thing to keep in mind.
Do I see anything that looks like a control panel, or it's just all
Yeah,
these interconnected rings or pieces of the ring?
So there is something that looks like it designates as a control panel on the actual marble. Fortunately, with the angle of the thing, you can't see it. But on the marble itself are these little raised. They're made out of marble themselves. There are these little raised slots that look like they're small triangles. And what it's made to do, you don't actually even have to touch it. You just get your hands close enough to it. You reach out to the weave. They glow, and this is how you basically are able to in common say the command word and it gets the machine started. It starts up the machine. Now once the machine is started, at the very least, now that you know how to activate it, you know how to safely, when I say know how to activate it, I mean anyone that was just messing around with this doing an arcana check very well could have disastrous consequences. You can safely start it. You're not sure what it does, but you can safely start it.
He would like to just do just a general, is there like an arcana roll that or some other thing that would tell him what it does before he
Well,
turns it on?
what you can do is you can do a general arcana roll. It's tough, but I mean you're really really good at this, but you could you could do a general arcana roll. This is
Okay.
a very very hard thing.
Modron's busy, so this will be just a regular straight up arcana roll.
Yeah.
Guidance.
All right. It's guidance now, D4,
Well,
right?
it's a D4.
Oh, good start.
Yep, 25. Okay.
It's his special
So
ability.
right.
What are we up to now? Those dice rolls didn't come up. 1 sec.
You got a 25. Did you wanna do anything
Oh, well,
else
there's
with it?
2 additional D4 on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
And he is definitely going to use a flash of genius on this because.
Yeah.
Wild. Oh, wow. It's a really good
So
roll.
so what did you get? 12
That
plus 25?
is
37?
a 37 total.
Okay. So you know that when you start the machine, you're going to have 5 different options. Within those 5 different options, uh, unfortunately, they're still obscured to you. You have to like actually start the machine to get them. One of the options, however, is seeing the immediate future within like the day, seeing the immediate future. The other option that you vaguely understand is there is some kind of like portal mechanism. The other 3 options are foreign to you, even with your amazing like understanding of this machine. It's just far too complex. That said, once you get to the options, you will have to use one of them. If you don't use any of them, then what the machine does is it to restore it, like it's so hard on itself when it starts that if you don't use an option, the machine has these mechanisms in place to basically retake some of the magical energy, and it will do it on an individual within the room or the nearest individual that it can get, and you don't know what that actually does to a person, but it will try to grab some of that magical energy back if you don't use the machine. Otherwise, it could destroy itself. So it's a necessary component of this. You have to use it.
He's going to say you can't really like try fire this thing. You have to use it. No testing. Use it with someone. This is some sort of like portaling kind of
It could
mechanism
take you to the
here.
worlds. Yeah, it could take you to one of these worlds, but it could also tell your future for the day.
Well,
Um,
he's gonna scratch his head and be like, "You might even be able to explain this part. This is portenting stuff, Henri.
Ooh.
You understand any of this here?"
I mean, I would check out like the part that he was
yeah,
referring to.
specifically trying to get the yeah. You can do an Arcana check specifically on that portion, which is much easier.
Ooh, 26.
Okay. Yeah, so if you focus on just that one piece, what it does is it will tell you, it'll basically tell you what all you do is you say, if I do this, this is what happens. And then you get a visual representation. You would know this as like a holographic representation because it's going to actually take a lens within the machine, and it actually feeds it directly into the user's like consciousness, and it will tell you exactly what ends up happening for that day, and it will even show you, it'll only show you your actions, though it won't show you like your group mates actions. However, it will show you the outside actions. So let's say that you say, I'm going to go kill the dragon today, and you go through it, it'll give you kind of a representation of what happens in that moment, like going through it, if you do those exact things.
Hmm.
So for instance, if you wanted to use this to say, let's fight the crystal dragon, it will give you a play-by-play of what actually happens through the crystal dragon. What that means mechanically, by the way, for us guys, is that this actually gives you a realistic do-over. So instead of like actually telling the future, I can actually give you future events, but we don't actually know what's going to happen because roles are affected and everything else. So what that means is that you actually get, this will allow you, if you wanted to do very, very, very risky things and then go back and redo it. Now, here's the downside. The downside is whatever you do never actually affects the real world because this was always a potential, but this will actually show you, like, let's say that you wanted to destroy the machine or firebolt the machine. You could totally do that with this right now. And those kind of things I can show you all around. If you say, let's fight the crystal dragon, we actually do the crystal dragon fight. And that's a representation of, for instance, fighting monsters without fighting them to go through it if you decide to use it that way. And then you just go back to the time that we went through before, and that's what ended up happening. So it lets you like test things essentially, mechanically, if that makes sense.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Now, the downsides with this machine is it's incredibly fragile. The downsides of this machine is that you don't know who built it. The downsides of this machine is also that it is literally 2,700 magic items. There are a shit ton of secrets on this machine. It will take you forever. Matter of fact, I think it's impossible. Even through our sessions, you couldn't identify all of them anyway. So you're gonna have to find other ways to figure this out.
Mhm.
Using the machine is a good way to do it, but the other way is to also like find out more about who built it. Like there's other things out in the world that'll let you do this. This whole item is a campaign, by the way, FYI.
Okay.
Oh God.
This is so cool.
It's extremely cool.
I'm gonna watch the front door. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, Grin would have been like posted at the door. He doesn't know what any of this stuff is about.
Yeah. Now, Abel, the other thing that's really, really interesting to you is the fact that your timepiece is a less complicated but connected piece to the greater thing of whatever this is. Whoever made this probably made your timepiece. So keep
Mhm.
that in mind.
Yep.
It can probably help you on your quest to get all of those as well, if you were to find this person. So
All right. I really want to try and turn it on and test it. Do you think there's a good question to ask? Because I don't think at the moment we want to go someplace. I bet this thing could take us anywhere.
I don't know. I don't really know that there's any theoretical situation that we really need to be asking about right now.
You could ask it questions about itself, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, is it?
well, so you've done the identify, so you know this. It's actually more of a what will happen if scenario.
Yep.
It's not actually a can you tell me all about yourself thing. That's what the Modron's built for. This is less of a tell me my future when I do this.
I was thinking of asking it like, what would happen if we stayed here and experimented with it for the next week?
It only right now the only thing you've unlocked for sure is the day. You can do these other 3 mystery things. You have no idea what they do. When you activate them, you activate them. You cannot turn them off.
Hmm.
And you can try once you go through it, you can try to turn it off with that same consequence. You can like start it before it finishes. You can say, forget it, and then there's that it takes magic from something kind of thing.
Hmm.
You don't know what that is. It could even mean like taking someone's soul. You don't know.
Do you say it unlock the date? Like Abel knows what day it is?
No, so far there's no obvious timekeeping mechanism, although you're sure that's part of this. That's probably one of the things you could actually get when you decode the visual light like things once it's going through the rings. But there's no obvious timekeeping piece yet.
I don't think I'm actually following how this works here. I guess.
Well, so to make it simple, the first thing that you do is that you basically give it a what if scenario and it goes through it. If the what if scenario is combat, we actually do the combat. So you guys can test it out. That's what I'm saying. So for instance, if it was fighting the crystal dragon, we actually do that whole combat, and that's how it is. Now time is like a river in Faerun, and what that means is that there are always going to be 1,000 different things that change it. Mechanically, what that means is the roles are the thing that changes it. It's our actual like interaction with it. It's like quantum physics for D&D in the sense that like that's why time is not perfect when you start it and end it. So that's how we're explaining that part.
See
However,
roughly how it would play out,
exactly.
but
It'll
not
always
the
be a
actual
tad different.
execution.
when it comes to combat. However, you could just do, I'm going to fireball this machine, and I will tell you exactly what happens. So you can actually think of the what if scenario of you when it beams this into your mind. You actually literally take your multi-tool and fire it at the machine. You get to see exactly what happens. It doesn't actually happen. What it does is it holographically implants this into your mind to show you the truth of what's going to happen. So it doesn't actually happen. You basically get knowledge of things that never ever existed, and that's how it's telling you the future without
Okay.
actually doing it.
I guess the what if would be, what if I use this third function here that I don't know what it is?
Yep, you could totally try that.
Guys might want to stand back for a minute.
Henri does not move back. She is very, very interested in what you're about to do.
Yeah, Grin and Tina are at the door.
Yeah, we're. Oh boy, has the dragon moved? By the way.
Not yet. It's been so totally still. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it cares necessarily that you're in this room right now to you, Kino. So
He takes his boots off.
Mhm.
If it seems like, does he feel like he needs to attune to the control panel or whatever, or a part of it?
you don't. You surprisingly do not have to
Okay.
attune to any piece of it. Yeah.
Okay, then I won't do that.
Yep.
I have the timepiece, which does help us move around. Are you okay with me experimenting this on this?
Has an hour passed since the Modron started identifying it?
No. No, not yet.
I should wait for that.
Yeah,
That's a
we're
good
just gonna
point.
go in real time until you guys want to stop. So if you want to stop and wait, you can.
I think I would stop and wait to see what his is, and I'd just investigate it further.
Yep.
Wait for its report at least before I would activate it.
Okay. All right. If you do that, what the Modron's actually been doing for this hour, and it goes back to, is that it has been trying to find a way to open up a gate and how to use the machine to open up a gate to Mechanus. It does report back and tell you that Abel, it says you can use this device to activate portal here, and it shows you exactly how to do that. This is not one of the options that you have that you had access to. This is a completely separate function that the Modron has actually reconstructed. This is a very
And a portal here, he's pointing to the part of the device that activates it,
no. He's actually just
or a
pointing to that.
location of a portal.
No, he doesn't actually know. He will clarify. He doesn't actually know where the portal's going to be. He thinks it's just going to take the person that activates it and up to 10 people that they would like to also take with it. But he points to the Mechanus like piece and says that's essentially what's generating this magic, and you can use this to get back to Mechanus. And that's what he would like. He says, I want to, like, basically he's saying, let's go to Mechanus. That's where he's from. And that's what he would like to do. And he tells you how to do this specifically. Matter of fact, now that you understand this, you understand that you can actually use any of these probably through another way that he's telling you to go through this and go to any of these places. But this has nothing to do with what you're about to do. There must be so many things. And you think to yourself, Abel, there must be a lot of things you can do with this. This thing that you're about to do is the main function of this device, but there must be a shit ton of hidden functions within this device, which is why it needed to be crafted with 2,700 magic items individually to make it exist. There must be so much to this device. Oh, the Modron also warns you and says that you can't actually use it on itself. I forgot. I didn't read that, but that is correct. Yeah, so the Modron says that you can try, but there will be a consequence to that. Do not use the device on itself. It can't handle it.
Abel, ask the Modron who made it.
Yeah. Do you know who made this? I mean, who
Yeah,
could
go ahead
have
and do your
set this
roll
up?
with advantage. Roll with advantage on history.
Who could have set this thing up in the few months that I've been gone?
Yeah, great question. Go ahead and roll that with advantage.
Oh yeah, it's a
Okay.
20.
Did you get a natural 20?
Natural 20 plus 2d4. Well, actually,
All right. That is
technically
the
it's advantage.
awesome. No, it's fine. A natural 20 is the only way to get this information, so you lucked out. So the Modron tells you that there is no history book. There is nothing in history that ever talks about an item like this. However, the Modron instinctively knows that this is an actual piece of Mechanus that is used in the actual device to transport you to Mechanus. And there is only one individual within natural history that has ever been to Mechanus back and able to control the technology, and it is Mordecanian. Mordecanian. So so the only natural thing to ever like basically assume is that it was only created by him. And he is missing, he has been missing from history for a while now. He is an individual from Greyhawk. Out of character,
Wow.
he is the Elminster equivalent of Greyhawk.
Oh my god, that's a lot. That's a lot we just got.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, there is no historical record of this ever existing.
Should we ask this thing what would happen if we fought our doubles?
No, ask it.
You could.
Could definitely
Ask
do
it
that.
and
That's a good question to ask.
I was gonna say maybe something surrounding the Cadiso.
You could totally do that as well.
Hmm.
This is your way of trying. This is your way, assuming you have access to this, trying to discover certain things within the
Mhm.
world. That's the intention of this magic item. Theoretically, someone could literally rule the world with just that one piece, by the way. If you had access every day, you would become more powerful than any ruler within Faerun, obviously. You would know which wars to fight, everything, because you'd know if you'd win or lose, all that stuff.
Um, either of those actually sound very good. As a testing. Is there either of them that's more important to us?
Out of character, so you know when you start this, you'll figure this out eventually anyway, and I don't want there to be a ton of surprises. Once you start going through this, you have to be incredibly specific in what you're asking it because it needs an actual future path. So when you say things like, tell us what would happen if we fight our doubles, you actually have to say, if we go find the specific location where our doubles are and get into a fight with them, what ends up happening, or what would happen if we killed the other brother, or even better, and a better thing that it can always do without going through an entire combat is what did for instance evil brother do on this date, and that's something that I can relay. Stuff like that is because that's a few, as long as it's in the future, stuff
Mhm.
like that are things that we can go through. Also, this thing is incredibly powerful. You can you don't know what the limits are in its future, but you could even say like, what is Tiamat going to do tomorrow? Theoretically, it could work like that.
Mhm.
So
I
it's
mean,
stuff like that.
I was thinking we could ask it what would happen if we gave the Cadizel
That's
to
a
Oral, back
Those are great
to
questions. The what ifs
our,
are great, easy questions. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a good question.
um, was it we were gonna bring it to? Forgot the name.
Once you use the device, you'll get its time limit, by the way. Once you use it, the time limit will be uncovered. Like how many times you can use it a day, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question is what do the charges on this look like?
uh all that Abel sees is one charge, but he doesn't know what the time limit is.
What was that part? Sorry.
Abel sees that there's one charge through the identify, but you don't have the time until you use it. You don't even have a guess right now. 1 day, 1 week, 1 hour, you're not sure.
Well, if we're gonna use it, we should make the first one count because for all we know, it could be a year.
True.
Fair. What do we most want to know about?
So Grin, as you've been watching the doors and everything around here, every now and then you don't go outside to investigate, obviously, but you do hear clinking from like what sounds like mineral crystal, maybe. It's possible there are people walking outside at this point, but you have yet to go investigate. And remember, there are no windows or anything here. Also, this is not a place you want to get in a fight. You know that now. You want to do everything in your power to not get in a fight
Oh,
in this
definitely,
area.
yeah.
Yeah.
And any fight, even probably at our own peril, we need to move away from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even and the dangerous thing, Kino, for you is the dragon is like the worst, because the dragon, once it hits its breath weapon within this thing, it's over. So no fights. There is no possibility of fights in here. It's a game over kind of thing. This could
I'm
literally
gonna
be your end.
I'm gonna make them aware of what I'm hearing and just be like, keep your
Yep.
voices down.
Yep. Yep.
Should we ask about staying here and what happens if we attack a crystal man?
We could do that, although I was thinking like what happens if like I was thinking something surrounding like either the Brotherhood or like up north with Icewind Dale and Rill. What happens if we return the book? What happens if we don't?
Okay.
So we can't ask it like information questions like the Modron, like who is or what
Correct.
is.
You
But
just give it as what if scenario, and it shows the person who uses it in their brain
I-
holographically.
So I think what if we return it to Oral? Is
Yeah,
one that
what
could-
keeps
scene
coming
plays
up
out
that seems
exactly.
like at least would be a good thing to know. But we couldn't probably otherwise figure out as well.
could we use a loophole and be like, say we wanted to know who, like, oh, we can't ask the Modron who Kino's dad is because it like freaks out. But could
Yeah.
we ask this thing, what would happen if we met Kino's dad?
Sure. You could ask it what would happen if you met Kino's dad. What it's going to dig into,
For
Abel,
example.
is specifics. What day? Where are you going? Yeah, it's gonna. That's the thing that you guys don't know yet, that I want you to be aware of, so you don't waste a charge. Is that it is going to ask for very, very clear specifics. It will not allow you to have any open-ended things, because it's literally creating the future. So what'll happen is that when Abel starts to use it, Abel needs to have a very clear direction of where he's going. How did you find the father? Or it's basically like it's essentially like, what happens if I go to Cormier tomorrow? That it can do. It just can't do things that are open-ended, because it needs a very specific path. So even on fighting your doubles, you need to know where they are. It's going to ask you, it's going to like really dig into you. Now the good news is that you could also say things like, I go back to Grimskala specifically and
Yep.
put the Coedicil of Light on that it can do easily. It's where the vagueness comes in, that it's going to go through it. If for whatever reason Abel cannot use the machine, there's a downside. Remember that.
Mhm.
He has to use it. That's the danger. He has to use it. He has to expel that charge. And I will tell you out of character, because I'll be very nice here, you need to use the machine. It's very dangerous if you don't. There is a grave consequence to not using the machine.
What would be not expelling the charge? Now that I know it's there, I have to use it today, or
No.
once
Once
I
you
ask the
start to use
question?
once you start to use the machine, it will ask for specifics. If you can't give it the specifics, or you want to try to back out of your question, that
Okay.
will count as a, like, if it'll give you a fair chance to go through it. But then if you realize when it's all too late, maybe I don't want, like, it'd be like this. You ask the machine, I want to know the day that I die. And then it goes through processing, you're like, cancel that. That's a misfire.
Got it.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a point of no return.
Exactly. That would be
Um,
a misfire. And then it needs to recoup its energy.
So
Should we ask it
I
what would
had
happen if we did
wondered
that?
what.
Grin's just making jokes. He doesn't know what's going on.
Can't ask about the machine. Can't ask it about itself.
Right. Or functions about itself, it seems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the returning the book to Grimscala was something that I actually considered doing and
Yep.
still wonder about.
Yep.
Was gonna do it while some of you were frozen. I think that probably would be a good thing to ask that I could probably answer the questions for.
Yeah,
Um,
let's what's the biggest question we have at the moment? What's the most unsure we are about something?
Is Oral hunting us down to kill us?
Well, we kind of know she is, but she can't get that far. And
Oh yeah, I should probably
Returning
message
this would
Valen.
flavor.
that's not a bad idea, actually.
Oh, we might want to take care of the machine thing first because I don't want anything bad happening to Abel. But at some point, I really should message Valen.
Machine thing?
Also, the only other thing that you can think of, Kino, because you're an expert in dragons too, if you could somehow find a way to get on the good side of this crystal dragon, that would be good because the crystal dragon is your biggest fear. Like, anytime the crystal dragon gets upset, if it doesn't know about the machine, it could basically, like, if it doesn't want you guys around, it can just come into this thing and blow up the machine while you're here. That will
The
kill you.
machine have a name?
Not that you know of. The identify actually only gives you the very specific part, and this specific part does have a name that I can give you. It's called Ysterelian. All of them have names, but that's not the machine's name. You do have some respect now for Mordekainen, by the way. The respect that you have for this guy has gone up immensely. He
Mhm.
is maybe unmatched. Like, you start thinking, holy shit, this is not like this is beyond any intelligence or wizard you've ever encountered. This is like the real thing. Like, this is how someone is truly powerful.
Did you notice any tracks around when you looked here, Grin? Did you tell if anyone had been around lately?
And Gran, you didn't see any tracks.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But that's what you know. You need to either kill the dragon, make friends with the dragon, something with the dragon. The dragon's your biggest right now threat, because all it would take is the dragon to come in, fire one blast at this machine, and it's all over.
Mhm.
The dragon is a huge concern for you personally. You obviously would probably believe that making friends with it is obviously the best approach here, um, but the dragon worries you, really worries you.
So
It's
I'm
powerful.
thinking about if we were to activate this today and then I don't know if that's too much of a question about the device itself, but after activating this device and we met this dragon later today and tried to um talk with it, work with it, um you know, um make set aside any possible hostilities and socialize. I don't know um what would happen. Is that a kind of question that seems like you'd want answered?
That's
Yeah.
not a bad one. Are you confident you have all the specifics?
Well, I'm asking more specific what you want to know.
You could even
Oh.
theoretically fight the dragon right now with this machine. You know that, Abel. You could, if you do get into combat with it, you could test out the whole mechanics of the dragon because you'd see the future. But all you need for this is very specifics. What's your path and exactly what you do with the dragon. And then if it turns to combat, this would give you a chance to actually face that encounter without theoretically dying or whatever.
Mhm.
However, however, just keep in mind, it's going to want very specifics going through it. So,
And what do we foresee our plans being? Because those will be the specifics
That's
that
right.
are on the specifics most. I got to flip it on right now and ask it. Then we're going to go and try to find the dragon or find out whether it comes crashing in here anyway, maybe.
I
Hmm.
oh gosh, what's the question?
It's really just a future event. Like, what do you guys want to do in the future? And that's what Abel's going to input into the machine.
Abel, how would you word the question that you had?
I believe I would say, what would happen if I met the crystal dragon lingering around Daggerford tomorrow with in or near Daggerford after using the oratory in the shipwrights building?
I think using it on I think the dragon is powerful, and I think we will have to talk to it again because I didn't get to have a dialogue with it. I don't think we should use the question on it.
Okay. So
Do you
what do you
have a
think
better
we should use
question?
the question on?
The ones that are prevalent in my head are like brother, Aril, anything surrounding um, like like
Okay, so how would you ask the question of Oril or brother? I mean,
what if like tomorrow we attempted to return to Grimskala and uh, replace the Cadaisel of White.
It's where we got it.
Yeah, return it to the pedestal we took it from
Mm.
tomorrow within Grimskala. Stuff like that.
And I think I could be ready to answer the questions. That
Yep.
I'd be also interested to see what if
brother
we're
questions, I don't even know what question you have about brother, so I feel like I probably wouldn't know the specifics. Unless you want
Remember,
to
there
do
are
it.
also 3 other options that you can just roll the dice on if you want to expend a charge.
I'm also sort of wondering if we turn this on, is the dragon going to come crashing in here, despite the fact that we're asking a different question that's not about the dragon.
So I really feel like we should talk to the dragon.
would you like it if we
before
talk to the
flying.
dragon first?
Hmm.
This is fun. These are hard questions. These are really hard. I feel for you guys. This is a very complicated setup. So
It
Well,
also doesn't
if
help
we
the
talk to the
OneNote's locally.
dragon, right, then we've potentially set it off. Though it didn't seem like it reacted to us just being out on the beach, right?
So Kino, privately, you know that if it didn't want you in this room, it would have already come in, and if it knew about this or didn't want you here, you'd already be dead.
Yeah.
The dragon can get out of the zone. The dragon can
Oh, yeah.
blast you and fly. So
But if we start this thing up, and for whatever reason, like the dragon senses that some kind
right,
of
Kino just
crazy
doesn't
magical
know.
thing is started
That's
up, and takes
exactly
some
Kino.
offense to us being here, it could mean a lot of trouble for us.
That's true, and Kino just doesn't know the answer to that. That's true.
Would
So
you
maybe
like?
going to it now and
In
being like,
using the
"Hey, we're
machine
gonna do a
to ask that
thing."
question, we'd be setting that off, but we'll come into it informed.
Well, why don't I just go talk to the dragon before we set it off instead of using a charge where we could only use this? I mean, it's very
That's
possible
what I've been saying.
we can only do this once. Well, I didn't want to do it without everyone. Like, I didn't want to sneak off to do it because I don't like
Oh,
splitting the party.
Do you feel confident that you can make certain that that won't turn the dragon on this building?
Well, I just simply want to know where it stands. I don't know any. I mean, I know about it, but I don't know
I get
anything in
that.
the context of this
Do you feel
town. What happened?
confident that your discussion with it, with us there, won't turn it here?
Uh, I think if it had a problem with me, it would just deal with me and not turn on this building.
This would be much easier if you would say yes or no.
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, so you're not confident. That's
I mean, I'm confident in what I know, but what I know is limited.
not looking for
That's
100% assurance, but I mean, do you feel
I'll,
like it's a good risk?
I think it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Okay.
I just simply
Because
want to
right,
know.
like if like magic starts getting slung in that building, the whole town's gonna blow up. Probably. You get that, right?
Yes.
Everyone's clear of that?
Yes.
So as you guys are talking, a small, glowing, furry creature that looks like a cross between a fox and a bunny, but it's humanoid. It's glowing bright blue. Crawls out from inside the machine on the underside and starts to work furiously. And it mumbles to itself in a common, literally, can't be late, gotta get this done. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Oh my goodness. You guys see this happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pointing, looking at Abel and pointing to it.
Hi, who are you?
He looks up to the whole group and says, "Ooh, what? Oops, oops. Hi.
Hi.
Who are you?"
Hello.
Hello?
I am known as Abel. I used to live in this town.
He said, "Well, just so you know, this is very complicated. No touching, no touch."
Same to
And it, and
you.
it, and
Please,
it,
no touching. How about we both
he said,
step
"No, no,
away
no,
from
it's
the
okay. I'm
machine?
allowed. I'm allowed to touch
Oh,
it.
no, no,
I'm fixing it. It's okay. No worries."
What were
tell me
you
exactly what
fixing?
you're doing to it.
Yeah.
I
So
have not
Abel,
allowed you.
give me a perception check. Give me a perception check.
15.
Okay, he is actually pretty adept at whatever he's doing. He does have these glowing tools that are made out of glass that are going through, and it looks like he's recalibrating a panel underneath the base of the actual structure. Um, and he stops and he says, "Oh, I'll introduce myself. I am the familiar of the Great Mordicanian, and it's my job to make sure that this machine is in working order. However, how did you get in?"
We
The
walked
door
in.
over there.
He looks at the door and he says, "Oh, that's not good. That means I forgot something." And he goes back into the machine. Seconds later,
I'm asking
Arcana
him
check.
questions about what he's fixing as he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
As that happens, Arcana check, Abel.
Okay. Uh,
21.
21 plus
Yeah.
2D, plus a D4, sorry.
He has activated a barrier around the
Before he goes
entire.
to activate anything, I would like to try to interfere.
You can, but this is within a split second. He's
Okay.
really good at this. But try roll initiative for me. Roll initiative and then tell me exactly what you want to do.
All right, the initiative is 14.
Hold on, I need to roll mine. Do it in Owlbear. It's pretty good, but let's see. You might be able to beat this guy. And then you'll have to tell me exactly what you want to do to try to stop him from doing this. But hold on. Weird. Hold on one second. Where did that go? Okay. I beat you. Okay, so he activates it. But this is all happening momentarily. So what would you like to do to try to stop him?
He went before me and turned it on.
Yeah, but this is all happening at the same time. You don't necessarily know that. You still have to take your action. What action did you want to take?
Well, he goes before me, so I was gonna try to reach and stop it from touching anything.
Oh, so it happens at the same time. So what ends up happening is that because initiative is not actually within 6 seconds, it's everyone trying to move at once, and it's in those split seconds, like when you're attacking someone gets there right before you do. So you reach out
I was
as
gonna
at the
try to
same
move
time.
his hand away from the button or whatever.
Oh, he has tools or whatever. Well, he gets there right as you go through that. You do grab him, but he gets it. And he like looks at you and like squeals and looks like he wants to, he's like, how dare you touch me? But at the same time, he finishes it and he like points and he says, and he points to the outside, and then you know that he has set up a barrier that's protecting the entire structure. You will not be able to get back in. However, you can leave the structure. That's that kind of barrier. You're pretty sure
I
you have an
am
idea of the spell?
upset. So what I am going to do
Yeah.
is I am going to cast a dispel magic on the barrier.
Oh, on the actual barrier? Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can try for sure. Yeah. So if you want to, you just have to move away. And so this is a large barrier. It actually goes around the entire shipyard. It's invisible, but it's outside, and it's a dome, and you can absolutely do that.
Did it move me?
No. You just have to move to the barrier to spell it.
It's between me and him then somehow.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I guess it's my description that's the problem. So the barrier is a barrier around the entire shipyard building. It is not going to put a barrier around the device. The
Oh,
device,
okay.
the barrier around, it's actually the entire building.
Oh, okay, he didn't put a barrier between me and him.
No.
Got it.
This is the entire building. It's basically to make sure that no one probably messes with the machine, is your
Okay,
best guess.
I don't do that then.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. All right.
I thought he put a barrier up and I was just gonna knock it out of the way. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. So no, this is around the entire structure. So are you saying, well, you wouldn't have necessarily known that. You only know that he
Oh,
obviously
he
just
hit the
activated
button
something.
and then I rested
Yeah.
my arm on his hand trying to move it off the button or
Right.
effectively something to that.
Correct. Anyway, he
And
did
the
it, and he looks at
barrier
you.
forms around the whole
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, and he's like, too late. That's my job though. And he scurries around, and he says, I wouldn't suggest hurting me or anything, but now that we're in the same room together, hi.
What? I'm just wondering why you put that up.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So he goes to you, Henri, and he says, because if anyone breaks this machine, it's going to be bad for everyone.
It's terribly fragile, and I'm
Yeah,
only
Abel, he's
Morgan
just trying
Canning
to
could have set it up.
protect it.
And it's my job to make sure that this machine is protected, and I accidentally didn't put the barrier up. Don't tell anyone.
No, we're trying really,
Right.
really hard to make sure that it doesn't get broken. It's so cool.
He looks up at the machine and he says, "It is actually pretty cool. I didn't make it, but my master made it." And so Henri, by the way, this is a familiar, but this is not a spirit.
In the same way that neither is Butterball.
That's right. Now that you have Butterball, you know, and you would know this anyway because you would know how the spirits work and how they're chained. This has free will. It's not a spirit. It can be killed. But this is also, he said it's a familiar, and you can tell he's probably right. He is. Yeah,
It's like a creature that actually exists that is currently in the service of Mordenkainen, correct?
That's correct. And they've made a bond just like your pseudo dragon. It's a different kind of creature though. never seen this creature before ever. It's a different kind of creature, but yes, same thing with your pseudo dragon. Yep.
Well, Anu would say, not to be rude, but what are you? I've never
He
seen
said.
anything like you before.
He said, "Well, uh, you people are not all from Faerun. Maybe I can tell you." And he puts his like finger up to his nose and he starts scratching his head, and he says, "I don't actually know if I can tell you. I'm sorry, but maybe one day I can tell you." He says,
How
"But I
can
do.
you?
I am really, really busy though. As you can see," and he points to you, Abel. He says, "As you can see, this machine requires constant tinkering, and it is my job to make sure that it is recalibrated properly."
Yeah, there's a little bit of wear on the outer rim on that circuit. I noticed that it's a certain level of wear and tear on it.
He says, "That's a good eye that you have there." He says, "That's right. There is wear and tear. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to a machine like this. If we could have made it indestructible, I think Mordecanian would have. At the same time, it is probably set up that way as a very, very, very conjectured way to make sure that the machine constantly is running in a cycle of destruction, a cycle of re-energizing and recalibration.
Mhm.
And that's my job. That's why I'm important."
Yes, you are. This is a fascinating and perhaps most wondrous machine of all
He
that
he
I've seen.
looks he looks over and he says, "You have a Modron?"
Oh yeah,
And he goes over and starts looking at it. He says, "Can I look at it?"
ask him.
He takes his little like crystal pieces out and goes through and starts like touching the Modron. The
Oh
Modron bats him
no,
away.
ask
Yeah,
the
the
Modron if you can.
yeah, the Modron does bat him
Like,
away
push him
anyway.
away.
And "Oh," he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Oops, sorry. Sorry, little Modron." And he goes through and he starts looking at the Modron. He says, "Did you get it from my machine? Did it come out of there?"
No,
He
don't
said, "Where did you
think
get
so.
this? You know that this is from Mechanus."
Mhm.
He said, "Where did you find it?"
Uncertain I'm ready to tell you. He might tell you if he wants to, though.
How
Yeah, he
can?
goes, "Well, I am really, really busy. I'm super busy." And he goes back, he climbs up to the thing as he's going through this.
I want
And
to
he
stop
says,
him if he's
"Okay,
running.
you can. Yeah, go ahead."
I'm not gonna like grapple him or anything. I just kind of want to stand in front of him and just go. How can you tell who's
Keep in
from?
mind the barrier's up. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you tell who's from different worlds?
He said, "Well, I've actually spent a lot of time in different worlds." He says, "By the way, on your way out, you can leave. Just understand that you're not going to be able to come back. Sorry."
Is why is the machine here? Why? I mean, why?
He said, "Because Mordecanian put it here." I actually don't know the answer though.
What did you
It's been
say
a
your name was?
long time since he's been back, but I know he'll be back.
So you keep this up. You put the guard up against Crystal Men and the Crystal Dragon out there, or are
He
they
said,
part
he
of the
looks at you and he
security?
points and he says, "No." He says, "That's exactly why. It's not just because of the crystal people, but anyone that comes in here again, kind of my bad. No one's really supposed to be messing with this, but
Mhm.
we're just going to leave that part out if you ever see Mordecanian, all right? That's
All
between me
right.
and you."
Can you tell us about the crystal people outside?
He said, hmm, well, kind of, but no." And he looks at you. He
What does
says,
that imply that you
"Sorry."
know?
All right. Well, if you know so much and uh, uh, so which people from this room are from other worlds to prove that you're not all talk?
He does point to Abel and he says, "Him?
Where am I from?
Where's he from?
I don't actually know where you're from, but I know it's not Favorite and I know it's not Mechanus.
Doesn't
Don't
seem to
think
be up
it's
here.
Eberron. What?
I don't
What?"
even see it here.
He looks at all you can see that he's looking around in the machine. "Really? You're not from
Really?
any of these places?"
I didn't see it here.
He said, wow. He said, wow. Well, you know what? Maybe this will gain you interest next time that Mordecanian comes back, because I think he'd be very, very interested to see a creature that he doesn't know of in the world that he doesn't know of.
Mhm.
That's something that you could use as leverage.
Actually, while he's saying that, I'm going to look at the button that he activated things with, or control panel or whatever, and start to identify that.
Arcana check. You know, he will not allow you to identify it if you're going to try to cast a retro identify. I'll tell you that right now. However, you can do an Arcana check on that to see if you can recreate it. There's a possibility you can, given your intelligence. You can. By the way, what I'm saying is that if you want to do an Arcana check to stealthily try to figure this out, it is possible.
Okay.
24 will allow you to.
It's
You-
actually
you-
28.
Yeah, you could do this without. You don't have to say anything. You could recreate what he's doing to bring that barrier up and down. That
Mm.
was very smart, Lee.
Mm.
Okay, so he says, anyway, I got to get back to work. I'm really busy.
What did you
Can
say
I
your
help?
name
There's a
was?
lot of great stuff here.
He
It's
said,
kind
no,
of
no,
like
no, no,
my
no. He
device.
said, no. It's my device and it's my job.
Oh, no, I mean, it's like the device here I have on my arm.
Oh, do you show him the thing? Do you show him the timepiece? He says, where did you get this? This was made by Mordecanian.
Seems like it looks like his work. See how he did this piece here, with the corner, and how it
Yeah,
solders in? It's like
he
up
said,
there.
did he give it to you?
I believe it came to me because I'm fated to be here.
He said, maybe that's right. Maybe you are fated to be here and I didn't do a bad thing. He said, that's right. That's right. That's what we're going to say anyway. That's right. That's right. You are a good person. And he looks
am.
up and he's very, very proud of himself now. And he said, this is logic that works.
I have
Good
I have
logic
like
always works.
He said it does.
I am just taking notes, and they're on little like singular pieces of parchment that I have stuck in between the pages of my leveling book.
Yep.
And so I have it out, and I'm writing, and oh, what did you say your
Well,
name
so
was?
okay, yeah, he actually will notice that immediately. He's like, you have all kinds of things that Mordecanian has made. Come here. He said, I've never even
Uh,
seen one of these. Just heard about them and read about them. And he wants
yeah.
you to come closer to him.
Okay, I'll take a step closer. I
All
really
right.
didn't catch your
He takes his
name
little
though.
crystal pieces. By the way, he takes his little crystal pieces out and starts messing with your book immediately. He said, okay,
Maybe.
let's see how this works right now. Do you mind if I
Well,
open this up?
yeah, I actually do. I'm just a little. It's come in handy. I would really hate to see what happens if. I, can you tell me
He's,
what you're gonna do?
he said, take it apart.
No. Uh,
He said, okay,
I
well,
I can
he
tell
said, when you
you
open it though, there's like a room in there, right?
there's a space in it, and it changes based on people, and it probably won't work for you because it works for me. Um,
No, I'm not going to take your book. I read about these. This is so exciting. And he points to you, Abel. He says, you were meant to be here. This is logic. This works.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you have all kinds of things from Mordecanian. I didn't screw up. Whew. I didn't screw up. I didn't screw up. I didn't screw up. I didn't screw up. As he says that, he's like fiddling with things here. He's like, okay, I gotta go. But just remember, once you get out, you can't get back in because I put the barrier up. But that's a good thing because if you were to touch this machine, it would kill us all. And he
Yeah,
goes
it's
back
very
into
powerful. I told them
yeah.
all that.
where is
Yeah, and he
Mordecai?
as he does that, he goes into his little crevice. It must be an interdimensional gateway or pocket dimension or something, and he falls and leaves. He's clearly working underneath this machine.
Mhm.
So that there's a couple things that you have now gained from this, just from your intelligence and the understanding of your machine alone. This machine is vastly more complicated wherever he is. This is just the tip of the iceberg of this machine. It actually is a little terrifying when you think about it. The bulk of the machine must be underneath the structure. So number one.
Okay.
Number two, he is probably correct. It probably takes a lifetime of effort to recalibrate this machine just to get it to work. and he has probably been set up that way. You feel a little almost sad for the creature. At the same time, he does think to like love his work. And then you think about it yourself. Like, would that really be all that bad? Like, if that was you,
I
you might
would
actually
not
be
mind
okay
that
with
job.
it. Exactly. Yeah. Then you start thinking about it and you're like, that would be a pretty good deal. And so, but he must have some kind of like huge tie to Mordecanian. And you have no idea how long he spent doing this or whatever, but he clearly also is very smart and knows what he's doing. That said, you were able to glean exactly how to bring that barrier up and down. Now, here's what you know. If you can bring the barrier down, the problem with bringing the barrier down is there's no good way to activate this without being on the inside. So while you're in, you can protect yourself. When you leave, you kind of need to leave that barrier down. And worse, here's the other thing. If that little creature ever comes out and puts that barrier up again, you're going to have to dispel it to get back in. That's the other thing that's a little now.
Do I
So there's
feel
like all
like you
kinds of
can
complications.
teleport through it?
Probably not is the answer. You don't know that for sure. You have to test it or ask the machine. Like you have to say tomorrow, or I want to know a time in the future. Put a scenario in where the barrier's up at some point, and then see what happens when I teleport and show me. And you could do something like that. But probably not. Is your guess? Unless you set up something elaborate, probably not. So bringing the barrier down is, of course, the risk you have to take. But at the same time, you now can, which would have been really unfortunate if you couldn't, which would have surely happened. I would have made it happen. So you would have had to really try to dispel it every time, and it's not easy. So
Um, hmm. Is there a way we could leave someone here?
right,
Uh,
that's
who-
another option.
Like leave one of the party here.
Doesn't have to be one of the party. We could hire someone to stay here or something.
Yeah, so let's go hire one of the crystal people.
Abel, the only thing that you notice that comes to your head for anyone with your intelligence is, of course, the Modron.
You could leave your
Because
defender
you can
here.
trust him. You can trust the Modron.
Someone we could get a message to and say, hey, put it down so we could come back.
But that's the thing, exactly. You need to find it's more complicated. You need to find a surefire way to message and get in contact with the person and have that system set up. But could you program the Modron even for something like this with the right magic to message it? Yes. Or even the right magic to manipulate things like a programmatical like on-off switch? Yes.
We'll put it on a timer.
That's right. You could do that as well.
Hmm.
Out
Modron
of
could do that.
and out of game, this is one of the greatest magic items we have in Faerun, but it is also the most complicated and by far the most finicky. So much effort will go into just keeping this thing going. Not from a maintenance side, but from a how do we manage it side. Just as an FYI, just so you know what you're getting into. But this is an entire campaign itself if you choose to go that route.
Mm-hmm. 7472.
Yep, it clicks and looks at you.
Would you like to study this creation
He says,
of
I would love
mooring
to study.
cannons
He says, I would love to study this creation.
and its ties to oh okay. Primus. Is it Primus? No.
Mechanus is the world. Primus is the god.
Mechanus.
But you know this. Mechanus is the world. Primus is the god of that world.
Would you like to study
Yes,
it and figure
yes, I
out
would
its
even like
ties
to
to
go.
Mechanus and Primus and
And it does say
and
yes. I would even
its
like to go
workings?
back to Mechanus. I would love to go back to Mechanus and study this.
I think this could get you back there, but I would like to do that safely.
He says, "Am I allowed to go back to Mechanus and activate this?"
It would work the other way, wouldn't it?
If he were to activate it and solely send himself through, he could get back to Mechanus. But if you were to activate it, you could send yourself and him to Mechanus, or yourself and the whole group to Mechanus. You could literally travel to Mechanus. That's the one thing that he uncovered, if you remember.
You want to go there?
He says, I would like to go there. I would like to be with my people, the Modron.
We want to go to Mechanist?
All of
I'm
us?
asking. Yeah.
I don't know anything about Mechanist, Abel.
We still have a bunch of stuff to do here. We can't go yet.
Oh,
I
that's true.
really wouldn't, to be honest.
I think it would be really cool to go one day, but I think there's too much stuff happening here that we have to figure out what's going on. That we can't just leave it.
Mhm.
We have to figure out what's going on with the Crystal People and Orville and all the other stuff. There's so
Mhm.
much stuff going on. We can't just drop it.
Mm,
But one day we'll go. I definitely want to go one
yeah.
day.
Is this something you feel like you need to do, Abel?
I don't feel like I need to go to Mechanist. He seems like he
Okay.
wants to go home, and I can understand that. I don't want to keep him if it's not. But I'm also not certain that it'll work how he thinks it will, or it will necessarily get him there. Can you study this for us?
He said, "I will study this for you."
If you decide you want to go to Mechanist, then that is your choice. I would like if you would study it and help us understand it better. And when you think you know it could safely get you back, let us know, and then before you go.
Yep. If you want to set it programmed to start basically understanding the machine,
Hmm.
it can actually go through the equivalent of 2,700 identifiers. It will take forever, but it can start.
I think I would
It
do
has to
that.
do it mechanically. It has to do it mechanically, so it doesn't use a portal or anything. It actually does it via the Mechanist Modron way. So it's a little more complicated than a 10-minute ritual, but it can start.
I think I would like it to start investigating it. That
Okay.
seems like the logical, straightforward way of doing,
Okay. You guys
If you
noticed
think
that.
if you think you can get yourself safely home through it, come back, let me know, report, and
Yep,
I
it
wish
says
you well.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Wait, we just let him go home though? But we have so many more questions.
Well, it'll take him a while to do that. We can ask him questions later.
Should we get some questions in before we leave?
I think that might be
Are we
good.
leaving?
So if you guys can pull up the picture again real quickly of the orrery, one thing happens that is significant. So do you see the planet with the ornate ring around it that's bigger than the others? It's all the way. It's right next to Mechanist,
Yep.
and it also has a moon that's on the ring that goes through it. That planet now goes an entire rotation all the way around the ring while the actual moon is rotating in a counterclockwise position over it. This is the very first time that you've seen everything is moving like crazy slow. The whole machine is moving super slowly, barely moving, and you can tell, Abel, that it's moving. Now this thing goes all the way around.
All of a sudden, by itself, it just goes around.
Yep, it goes all the way around by
It,
itself.
it
Just a
takes
functioning
out Henri.
machine. Yeah, no,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. But it does.
Goodbye.
It goes at like 3 miles per hour, so it's not necessarily slow. It's like 3 miles or so an hour that it's doing that, which is pretty fast on the
It's like a
small.
good walking piece.
Yeah. It goes decently fast around. And then it goes back to where it was a little bit and then stops again. So the machine is certainly alive and doing things now. It probably always was, but this is part of just a function of it.
Quick question. While the familiar was here, his
Yep.
tools,
Yep.
were they just glass tools that were very fine, or were there stuff there that I didn't even understand,
There
or
was stuff there that you
new
didn't
tools?
understand. They are new tools, and they are made out of a glass crystal material, and they were tools that you've never seen before in your life. They actually had little pieces on the onset to grab into things that
Mhm.
you saw that were super functional, but very foreign and alien to you from that as well. So it does seem like to open this machine, it probably requires these tools and it requires going through it. That said, you now know exactly where it is to activate, impress, and get into through the weave the
Now that I
barrier.
understand those tools exist,
Yep.
can I use my wonder tool to turn into whatever those are?
Not yet. So this tool is just a little too complicated for that. These are artifact level tools, and
Okay.
your magic item is not actually powerful enough. If you do end up getting the +3 version of this tool, then you can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
You can try to make
also,
effects. You could totally do a facsimile of it, but it's not going to be good enough.
well, I was gonna say, I am able to. Oh, let me double check it here.
It looks like when you set your multi-tool up for these tools, it looks identical to the tools you set up. When you start working on the machine, it's not good enough.
Okay, I can make toolkits, but I don't immediately become. That's just the what do you call it?
Yeah, and this has an internal structure that you need a +3 magic item for anyway. But yeah.
Okay, I just thought I happened to have the right set of abilities and special items
Yeah.
there for a second.
Yeah. I mean, you do. You could make a facsimile of it. The problem is it's not just good enough to use the machine. But this is a rare case too. For the most part, you would be able to make any tool you want to and just need the proficiency. This just happens to have a special piece. So, but you
Mhm.
do normally. You can make any. You could actually make any that tool into any tool you've seen.
I will try to make the best version of those tools I can
Yep.
for the Modron. I know it
Okay.
has very good little.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
probably has better tools itself, but you know.
But I think that means you need to give it the multi. I think the multi tool turns into it, doesn't it? Is that the
Oh, no, I
flavor?
can actually make tools as
Oh,
as
that's
an
right.
artificer ability.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you can. Here's the problem. You don't. So if you're doing, I thought you were using the multi-tool to turn into these. You don't actually have the natural resource that is the tool. It's not actually just glass. But if you want, you can make ones out of glass as facsimiles for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that. But you don't have the raw natural resource to actually make these tools yet.
Okay. I'm keeping it. That's on a back burner thing. Just kind of keeping an eye
Sure,
on what they're made out of and what they are. And
sure.
Mhm.
All right, guys. What's next?
okay, so he's investigating that. What do we want to do though?
I will talk to the dragon or see if I
Okay.
can. Uh,
Okay.
are do we have any? The Modron's working. Do we have questions for it? If this is really like a goodbye for the time being, we should probably get our questions in now, huh?
It has not been 24 hours. Keep that in mind. You can try
Oh,
though. You can still try, but it's not been 24 hours yet.
I don't get the sense that he's going to come back with that answer on how exactly this thing works.
Anytime soon.
Like
Abel's correct. Yeah.
days or weeks.
Yeah.
or at all.
Right.
I'm just setting him on a task. He said he'd kind of report back before he left. You know, we can ask him some stuff then.
Did we want to use the machine?
You want to use the machine before or after talking to the dragon? I think that's the big question.
I think we should talk to the dragon first.
Okay, I will not be able to get back in. So if you use the machine, I will not be in this building because I'm going to talk to the
Oh
dragon.
no, I'll go turn it off.
Okay. All right, we can do that.
That guy's gone, right?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. If you want to just make a simple Arcana check at this point to make sure you don't get a 1, and you can turn the machine on and off at every time. You have a 5% chance of fucking this up, but you probably won't.
It's an
Okay.
able session.
Yeah. And you can always port
Yeah,
it,
that
right?
was a
So
33. That's like his
yeah,
perfect
you
roll for
got.
that. Yeah.
So you notice. So April does slide out the piece that he was working on, and he like almost like immediately brings the barrier. You're bringing the barrier down, obviously. Yeah. Okay, you bring it down. You could have walked right through this though. It's a one-way thing. You could have also
Oh,
walked
okay.
through it. Yeah. He cannot get back though. So now that it's down, he can get back.
Mm. Okay, it's
By
off.
the way, that's your check for the whole day. You can turn this on and off as much as you want now.
Good.
Yeah.
I think I just watched what his code was when he punched it, and he's like,
Basically, yeah. Basically.
Okay, who among us is going to talk to the dragon?
I raise my hand.
I want to go.
I'll go
I'd-
with you.
Okay, but yeah, sure, you can come. Keep Butterball away, and don't say anything.
Henri, you should probably stay here.
Oh,
Aw.
come on. She can come.
I think you're gonna need someone smart to do that, and it would probably be best if I stayed here that I could turn the shield back on to protect the machine, and you guys could be in here before then.
Yeah, worst case, right.
Henri's
Run away
gonna
from the dragon.
Henri's gonna be like nodding along, but like halfway through she's gonna freeze and then like her head's gonna whip back around to Abel. And she's just gonna have like a look of shock on her face, like, did he just call me
Yeah.
smart? Are you feeling okay, Abel?
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the two of us.
Abel just gave you guys a great out though, because like you could just like once Abel turns on that portal, let's say Kino does somehow piss off this dragon. Given that Kino knows the dragon doesn't even care about this machine at this point, but somehow it does and it goes back to obliterate all of you. Abel just turns on the machine.
Just be back in here before it tries to breathe on this building, because that'll be a tough choice for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Abel would probably make the logical choice, right? Like save a few to not kill everyone. But right.
All right, fine. I
yeah.
can come.
Yay!
Okay. Yeah, you two can be like the peanut gallery. You can watch, don't say anything, and grin. Don't fact check me on anything, please.
What does that mean?
I know you like to chime in. You like to get a word in, and there's a time and a place for doing that. Not in front of the dragon, please. But anyway,
What
what does
I
it sound
do is
like?
I keep a notepad of questions I want to ask, and I really want to ask them and write them down.
Sure.
And I've had to like be quiet. That's what I would do. Maybe that would help you, Grun.
I'm going to tear a sort of a slip of paper from my many pieces of parchment that I have. I am going to write my first and last name, spell it all out in neat handwriting, and I'm going to give it to the Modron, just in case he needs it.
Sure. Okay.
For anything, messaging, spells. The fact that I wrote this on this piece of paper should
Yep.
be enough for, and I kind of hand it to him before I leave.
Yep.
If
It takes it while working. It takes it kind of like almost shoos you off, but takes the piece of paper while working. It's not being rude. It's just very, very busy.
He's like, you able.
Yeah, it's
He
not
is.
being rude. It's just
I'm jealous of his focus, actually.
All right,
But,
Team Dragon,
yes.
let's go.
Oh boy. Okay. Before we open this door, what does it sound like outside? Are we going to open the door and get bombarded?
You can do perception checks. So go ahead and do a perception check on the front door. Front door, right? Front door or back door, by the way, guys.
The door we came in, which
Front
I got a
door.
21.
I barred the
Front
back
door, yeah, no sounds. Coast is clear. Seemingly, of course.
Okay.
All right.
I head
So you
out.
open the door. Stealth checks. If you're going to be stealthy.
And I'll cast Pass Without a Trace.
Thank you. That's going to be the best stealth check I ever roll. That's a 29.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
really good. So you guys, so you got who got the lowest again?
I did with an 18.
Okay, everyone's great. So you guys like almost like a SWAT party, very stealthily walk out, and you don't have long to go because literally you're just walking 20 feet into the door to get through here, where Grin is, and then you'll go all the way through. and back out. So this is a pretty easy stealth run. You are not discovered. And tell me where you'd like to go now. Now, Kino, you do instinctively know the dragon is literally in the same place, has not moved a muscle.
All right.
We should probably
I
go where it says port, like in that area, right?
yeah, we'll
Okay.
walk over there.
Yeah, feel free to move your miniatures in real time. So, yep. Grin's already up there. Yep, and so is Kino. And Henri now. All right, and Orion. So you guys walk up to the beach. None of you can see the dragon. Only Kino knows where it's at.
I will just kind of tell everyone just to, take it easy, weapons away. I have my sword on my back, sword is sheathed. And she's going to very hesitantly pull out a copper wire,
Mhm.
kind of roll it in between two fingers as she kind of thinks this over.
Mhm.
And she's going to point in the direction of the dragon.
Mhm.
And she is going to cast message and in Draconic.
Using its name though, are you casting message because you have its name?
I am assuming I have its name with the eyes.
Well, I messaged you. I messaged
Yeah.
you the dragon's name. Are you using
Yeah.
the dragon's name? Is what I'm asking. And that's how you're casting message, essentially.
Uh,
Or are you just doing it because you're pointing to, like you're looking at it line of sight? Which one?
well, I'm going to use. I don't believe I have line of sight, so I'm going to use its name because I need
Okay.
one or the other.
That's right. That's why I'm asking exactly. Because what if you tried to do it with your sight, I was going to interject. So perfect. So you're
Yeah.
using it with its name. Okay, great.
And I'm simply okay. I am Kino. You probably don't know who I am, but I have the pleasure of knowing such majestic and enrapturing presence, such as yourself. And I was wondering if I could have a few words with you before we depart.
Yep. Hold on. I want to make sure this is right. All right. So, um, so, so Kino, once you send the message to go through that, the water, the water explodes within like this rupture of like almost like geyser area. You realize a little too late that using its name has caused it to not only be startled but move quickly. As it does that, once the sun hits the crystal dragon, and basically the crystal dragon explodes out of the water. Surprisingly, this is wisdom, but everyone make a wisdom saving throw to see if you are dazzled. Probably will be, but Kino, you're immune to this.
Okay, good, because I got a 26 anyway.
Yeah, you're immune to this. Sorry. So, what was the rolls?
I got a 10.
I got a
19.
9.
Okay, so Ryan and Grin are blinded for a minute. Sucks.
Did you hear me
I'm
say
ho-
19?
You're fine, Henri.
Okay.
You shield your eyes just in time, but Grin and Orion are blinded for a minute. You see what this large gargantuan dragon rise up, and immediately as the sun hits it, it literally just envelops all of you in this crazy light. If you were to attack it with any ranged attacks right now, you would have disadvantage on those ranged attacks. FYI, this does not include spells, but unless it has magical resistance, you're not sure yet. But if you were to fire a bow at this, you would have disadvantage. Right now, though, Orion and Grin are both blinded for a minute. It rises out of the water and it says, "Who dares use my name?"
I'm holding
Yeah,
a
it
hand
just
up.
looks amazing in that light.
Yeah, it's big. This thing is big. This is a huge dragon, a gargantuan dragon.
I'm holding a hand up towards Grin and Orion and everyone. Not that they can see it, but just do not advance. Henri would see it, but that would be me. I only used it to cast a spell. I will refrain from using it again.
It starts to peer into you. This crystal dragon, you can see this with your eyes, by the way. It starts to peer into you, looking through, scanning within you, and it says in Draconic to you, small little human, are you here to trap me again?
I am
You
not,
can
in
tell that it's
fact.
getting ready to theoretically attack you, depending on what you're about to say.
I wouldn't dream of it. I actually I wanted to see how you were. I wouldn't dream of ever trapping someone like you.
What the dragon does is it here. So
You were, well, I'll be honest, you're the first one that
it's flying up to here, by the way. It's flying 20 feet in the air. It is pretty amazing looking. From everyone that's looking at this, it is a see-through crystalline dragon. The way these crystalline dragons work, you actually do not see any of their internal organs. They actually look, this one looks like it's a giant, its scales are made of this prismatic crystal material, and the light shines directly through it. You don't know if this is magic or other means, but it's absolutely amazing. The only things that are not made of crystal are the eyes, the teeth. And also it's like tongue and everything. You can tell that that does look like it's some kind of organic material. The inside of the dragon looks like it must be organic. That said, it is completely see-through everywhere else. The other things to notice, the wings itself, even though they do look like prismatic crystals, you can tell that the wings are smooth. So even though they are, I don't know if you've ever seen the model for the Sapphire Dragon, but that is exactly what the Crystal Dragon will one day look like. And it's got a smooth wing. It's actually like completely see-through there too. Every time you try to look at it, it dazzles you, which is actually why you're mechanically getting disadvantage. Every time it's like hard to look at this thing in the sunlight. That said, unfortunately, Orion and Grin, you guys are like, am I ever going to get my sight back? It's kind of like awful for you. Like you're really blinded. Like you just see white. It's awful. Um, as this is going through and you hear this in Draconic. Does anyone else speak Draconic, by the way, besides Kino? No, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. So that's the
Nope.
other thing. Just keep that in mind, guys, too. You're like in a vulnerable state where you don't even know what the hell's going on. You have to have a lot of trust in Kino right now, because the minute this dragon goes to fire, you can't even see anything. But anyway,
I
if
can
it
cast
does.
detect language.
Yeah, yeah. So
Detect language.
as the
I said it on
as
purpose. Yes.
Okay.
yeah, as the dragon, as the dragon refocuses on Yukino, it says, "I am sick of mortal men and women thinking that they can be equals to us. Say what you have to say soon, or I will crush you."
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying we're on equal footing here. Uh, I I wanted to offer my most sincere apologies if you were released into an unfavorable scenario, for that was beyond my control.
It interrupts you and says, "Released? What do you know of released?"
I I'm going to take a guess that you were thrown into a confusing and startling uh, event. There must have
Puny,
been.
insignificant beings trapped me in a hellish landscape for eternity. I told myself if I ever saw any of you puny, insignificant little ants that I would just kill you on sight. Think of this as charity for you. That I
Uh,
haven't killed you already. What do you want? This town
well,
is mine now. Just leave.
very well. I just wanted to let you know that I was the one that released you from those pages as you were
So
put in.
she or the dragon, you're not sure yet, lands down right here. Um, do me a favor. This is just to see if you flinch. So it gets into your face. and you do have advantage on this roll. And it screams at the top of its lungs in the most terrifying voice you've ever heard, liar. And it does so to the point that the wind of this literally could knock you down. In this case, it doesn't because you're in chainmail. As a matter of fact, anyone like Henri, you're knocked on your ass. I think Orion and Grin are fine, but Henri, this will knock you on your ass from the and it literally is a terrifying thing. As a matter of fact, you two are, and by the way, it says it in common. Grin and Orion, you do whatever you would do, but this like it could bite Kino's head off at this point, but it does see if you flinch. So do me a huge favor.
I'm gonna put in it to a nat 20.
There we go.
Okay, that's fine. So you do not flinch, but it puts it right in its face, and it literally gets inches from you. And it looks at you after it says that, and it says, "You're not afraid of death?"
Do you know how many times I've seen death? I am not one to court it, but I am not afraid anymore.
It's saying this in common now, by the way, so you guys can understand this now. It says, "Tell me why I shouldn't pick you up and squish you. I would love to see the blood run through my hands. Tell me why."
I have no doubt. So I am an agent for Dragonkind.
It does, obviously it does go through. Make an opposing roll because it's doing insight checks on you. Make an opposing roll real quick. I know you're telling the truth, but still make an opposing roll. And then I assume you're going to not oppose, but just humor me on that. Okay. All right. So it does squint its eyes, and it says prove it. Now, here's the thing that you know for sure. You do not know where this dragon aligns. You actually have no idea if it's Tiamat, Bahamut, its own thing, if it worships a completely different being. Crystal dragons are outside of this. They're not prismatic. They are not chromatic. They're not, metallic. There's something different.
Well, I have.
You don't know how it reacts to Tiamat. You have no idea. So
I was the one that read the book because
what book?
you were trapped inside of a book of electrum pages.
Sounds
One that
ridiculous to me. Who did that?
I don't know exactly whom or what trapped you there for how long, but I took the steps to ensure your freedom. And that put me in a very precarious position with my friends, allies, business acquaintances, and frankly, everyone I will talk to from now until my last breath. There were some very powerful men and women who wanted to use you as a weapon. And while I think you have all the power, they also wanted to strip you of your independence and keep your soul in stasis.
It does move over to this direction here, and it says, "I was trapped, insignificant human." I'm not sure how you know that. I'm not sure how you know any of the things you're saying. It's the only reason you're alive right now, that and that you didn't flinch. What are you doing here?
I was raised in this town, and I'm glad that it's in good hands.
Good. Then we agree. So do you have any more business here?
I simply wanted to ask the most capable person within miles of here, who I have the pleasure of talking to now, what happened to this town?
How do
I
you know
haven't.
my name?
I know many things. Like I said, I know a lot about dragons, and I would be
Wow.
hard.
How does an insignificant human know my name? I haven't told a human my name in thousands of years. How do you know my name?
Might I ask where? Uh, Tell me a little bit about yourself before you were
You
trapped.
have not earned the right to know anything about me. Answer my question or die. This is, by the way, so you know, this is actually outside the temperament of what you expected, privately. But yeah. Obviously being inside a magic book has pissed it off.
I would imagine.
yeah.
You see her very nervously clutch a chain around her neck.
Yep.
And she's going to pull it to the front. I don't know if this aligns with how you feel. I'm not a missionary, but I am here for Dragonkind. Just remember that.
Are you showing her the symbol?
I have it. I have it in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm clutching it so I'm just saying this before I release it, but I have it in my hand.
Okay, got you. So you haven't shown it yet. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. Yep.
Just know you might not agree with.
Is Butterball really out there?
No,
right?
no. I
Okay,
just have
okay,
the.
That's fine.
I've been kind of keeping the emoji like
Okay.
off to the side, but she
Okay.
is currently
cool.
safely tucked away.
Okay, all right. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kino is. She's not flinching, but she's not saying anything. And she's just looking up at the dragon and saying, I don't know what your alignments were before, but I will be honest in my following. This may or may not go with you, but your freedom is due to Tiamat.
So the dragon's eyes narrow. A human worshipping a dragon. She said. She looks at you and she flies up in the air, and she says, "Tell me the truth, human. Are you a dragon lover? Do you not love your own kind? Are you here to enslave the human race?"
I alone do not have the power to enslave much.
The dragon points to. He says, "See that little girl? Who's more important? My Ken or that?"
Oh, well, she's actually with me. She's done a great amount for your kin.
He said. She said, "Answer the question. Who is more important to you?"
Well, obviously, the dragons. I say in Draconic.
Okay, and it responds back into Chronic. So humans to you, your own kind, you would sacrifice for one of mine. How many? 100? 1,000? All of them? Worshipper of Tiamat? Tell me.
I think it's easy to paint with broad
This is
strokes,
in Draconic, obviously. Yeah.
but I seek to find an equilibrium. It's something that some may see as a fool's errand, but
So what if my children were starving? Would you feed the little girl to them?
absolutely. But well, I would seek that they would never starve in the first place. I seek a better future for all, despite
Yeah.
color.
The crystal dragon does land. It says, "What do you want?" in common. What do you want?
I came
This is my
here.
town now. What do you want? Are you going to try to take this town?
No, we're staying here shortly, but I wanted
I
to.
have decided that humans do not deserve to have land anymore. And the land that I will take will be this area around me where I am from originally, and I will take any other area that I deem fit for the next 100 years or more. Are you going to stop me?
I will not. If I wanted to stop you, I would have left you in the book.
I didn't think so. Good. I'm not sure I believe you, but at the same time, you do know my name, and that's the reason why you're alive. Many other reasons, maybe, but that's the most important. So, let me about my business, human, and I will let you have your insignificant life. And if it turns out that you are telling the truth, and we'll see about that, maybe you can be useful to me later. But for now, I am growing tired of this conversation. It looks over to Gren and to Orion. At this point, you guys can see again, by the way. More than a minute's passed. So you guys can see, you guys can start to see again. It points back to the group and it says, "Where are the rest of you? I'm not an
We
idiot."
we we're seeking shelter inside for a short amount of time. Um,
So its eyes glow. You are in my town?
only for about a couple hours. Um, we will be going shortly. Those
She rises.
inorganic.
She does rise 50 feet. Where? Show me where.
I wanted to warn you because there was a magical presence in the town that is capable of doing a lot of damage, especially to.
Where?
Well, I actually had a question before, or not so much a question as it is sort of something I will leave you on as you're getting tired with this conversation. I knew your name through her, and I'll just kind of tap the
Yeah.
the symbol. Like I said, I'm not a missionary, but she is greatly interested in your well-being, and she's very invested in getting people like me. And you'd be surprised what a bunch of puny, insignificant people can do when they can band together. And I am only the first of many weak
Interrupts
men
you.
and
I
women.
will not talk to Tiamat through an insignificant human. If it turns out that you are telling the truth, I am sure Tiamat will find me anyway, and we will see, won't we?
I'm sure you are on her radar, and I thank you for your time.
Now get out of my town.
I will gather my friends, and we will leave.
She said, "I will hold you to that. If not, we will have a very different conversation." And she flies around here. By the way, the light hits the water. You guys know better now to like redirect your eyes since you're not attacking her. Same thing happens when she flies up into the sun. It goes through the same exact nonsense where you would get blinded, but you've now diverted your eyes since you don't have to attack her. And she does reserve right back into the water slowly, and then very slowly but surely, she actually just stops moving in the water. So now that you've seen her and like talked to her and gone through this, she's just comfortable for whatever reason right now in the water, and this is where she's overlooking things or whatever she's doing in there, and she's like recharging in the water itself. So she's back there. You get the impression she is serious, Kino. She does want you guys to get out of here. So you have not convinced her that you should be in the town, obviously, and she will take that as an act of like, like if you guys don't leave, she's going to take that as an act of hostility. So that's the things that you've gained from your magic with her. Like you know a little more insight than everyone else, and you're sure that that's the issue now. If you
Yeah.
ever want to try to get back into here, you're going to have to somehow convince her that it is in her best interest that you guys are somehow within this town, which means you need to barter with her, trade, give her something. But
Yeah.
right now and obviously the other thing that you notice is that it doesn't necessarily mean that she has actually turned anyone into Crystal or anything else. She just believes the town is hers. So that's one thing that you know instinctively as well. But she does absolutely believe that this is all hers now and that she is going to do with it whatever she wants. You also know that that probably means that there is a giant hoard of probably some kind of treasure underneath here, as this is her lair now. So there is treasure underneath this town for sure. These are things you instinctively know that no one else knows. Doesn't mean there's magic items. It just means there's some kind of wealth because that's all dragons would use in their lair. But this is its lair. It will have lair actions, everything else. Its whole lair is this town right now.
And before, because I didn't want to interrupt anyone, before it flew off and got all settled again, I would just say to it that there is a powerful magical presence within the boathouse that is not to be disturbed, or else it will destroy the entire town and anything within miles and miles and miles.
It is going to take note of that. Yeah. If you give it all that information, it will take note of all of that. Yeah.
And I will
She'll take note
explain.
of it.
That is the reason I came here, to make my own presence known to my friends, to ensure your safety, that nothing accidentally happened in the town. Because last time I was here, it was not there. And thank
And
you
by the
again.
way, yeah, perfect. And you do get the impression that the dragon wasn't bluffing. Like if you want to show your allegiance to this dragon in its current temperament, like it would expect you to sacrifice Andre for it if it needed to. It's not bluffing there. This is not a test. These are things that you see with your magical eyes, that you see the true nature of dragons. And it's not, some dragons would use that as a bluff or try to get temperament from you, but you understand that this dragon is pissed off and absolutely does not view it. It once saw humans as worthwhile. It currently does not. It is angry at humans. That's private to you, you alone. So,
All right. So I will turn to everyone. All right, let's
all
gather everyone.
yeah,
The
we're
talk went
almost
well.
yeah. Let's talk through this to decompress it, and then this will be the end because it's after 10.
I
Are you
give
guys gonna go
two.
back? Are you gonna talk in front of it or go back?
I'm kind of motioning them along and just being like, two thumbs up, went well. Let's go get Abel. Let's head out. We're good. Grin, Orion, how do you feel?
Hey, Green, did you feel that wet breeze that went by a little while? It seems it might have gotten a little wet around here. I don't know where all this moisture came from all of a sudden.
Yeah. Let's get
We're
Abel.
by the ocean. I mean, it probably came from the water.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Let's get running.
Yeah, let's head out. Let's find Abel, and we'll be on our way.
Lead the way, Kino.
All right, I'm leading the way.
All right. So you go back into the building. You see Abel. Abel, obviously, you haven't like turned on the thing yet. Abel's busy looking at the machine, going through stuff.
Hey, Abel, we just about ready?
Two.
Okay.
What?
Talks went well. The
What?
dragon knows not to mess with this building.
Good.
It
Yeah,
seems
so I should
like
probably put that back up now, right?
yeah. You probably should. But
Turn the shield back on.
it seemed obviously it seemed upset. Enslaving your soul will do that. But it seemed in the best interest that it wants to keep the town in one piece, along with this fantastic contraption. So, I think we should make a choice on whether or not we're going to use it, and then we should kindly find somewhere. Maybe we could head back to Nightstone or Waterdeep or anywhere around here.
We were going to use this, right, to answer our questions about stuff we wanted to know, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so what did we want to ask first? I mean, we need to ask what happens if we do anything with the dragon?
I wouldn't ask about that. Uh, I think there's more pressing things. I would focus on maybe what happens if we go to like Yithrin or return to Grimskala, maybe. Like you could ask it what happens if we embark for Yithrin tomorrow and try and I don't know because we need Valin, but we'll see.
By the way, since we're nearing the end of the session, Kino, you didn't happen to see Group C's session, right?
I heard bits and pieces.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
I don't know I don't know the whole picture.
Okay. No, just curious. There will be information that people will gain on seeing each other's like things or whatever. That's why I'm just curious. It's better to not know, but at the same time, it's because now obviously any group that also sees this thing also knows where this magic item. That's why I've been thinking about this. It's like, how do I stop that? But I can't. There's nothing I can do. So same
Yeah.
thing with you because you came up in Group C, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm sure only good things, right?
Yep. Okay.
Tino,
Yes.
what was your answer to the dragon's question? You switched languages.
Well, yes, it seemed like Draconic was its first language, and it's honestly more polite to talk to a dragon Draconic.
So what did you say?
I said that I was here for everyone. I think that
You'll have to do an insight check on this, Gren, if you're suspicious, no matter what he says. If
Well,
you
you're
are
not answering
suspicious.
the question. The question was, would you sacrifice her for dragons? What did
it
you
was
answer?
it was a test question. It was a question
What
for
was your
allegiance.
answer?
That's a
I know
pretty
what the
yes or
question
no
was.
question there.
I know what the question was. I heard it in Common. You answered in Draconic.
Obviously,
what did you say?
Obviously, Henri means the world to me, and I would never
But
do
what
anything.
did you say?
I wouldn't. Do you
what
think I would?
did you say? I don't need to know what you meant to say or what you thought about saying or what you were intended to do by answering the question. I'm asking you, what was your answer?
Of course, I wouldn't feed her to a
I
dragon.
know Draconic. What did it sound like?
Is that what you said to the dragon?
You could try. You actually could try to feed this to Abel. It's going to be a bastardization. Abel's going to have to make a roll of it, but you could totally try.
Well, I'd like to try an insight check first.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
also gonna insight check that.
Yep.
Guidance myself.
Has to oppose no matter what, even if he's telling the truth. Kino, you got the 20?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So the way this works is even though you're suspicious about it, what that really means is simply giving you an answer enough that even though you're suspicious, you tend to believe the answer. And what exactly did you say, Kino?
I obviously wouldn't do any harm to Henri. First of all, that's short-sighted. And second of all, if I wanted to do anything, that was the chance. Like,
That's not what you said to the dragon, though. That's just you saying what you meant.
obviously,
I'm just asking for the word for word what you said.
I didn't. I said I wouldn't feed Henri to the dragon, but my alliances are firm and they're shaky. To be honest, it's tough
They're firm but shaky.
to myself.
I'm
but
making a
shaky.
whole lot of sense there, bud.
Am I less important to you than the dragons?
No,
Insight
of course
check.
not. Of course not.
If you're suspicious, you can insight it, Henry. If you're suspicious.
I have Henri really as like not making insight checks. She really
That's fine.
has not ever.
Yeah. That's fine. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Yeah. It's only if you're suspicious. Yeah.
Since this is a new question, can I do another insight check?
Yeah. Yep.
Would
That's
that
how it
be
works.
a new deception check for Kino?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not wanting that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, unfortunately she can. She's gone through every future possibility to make you stumble on this question, Kino. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tyler. Answer the
Now
question.
the way it works with these insight checks is they can get out of hand, guys. This is how most DMs rule it. So what it does is that after 3, then we take the average and then it goes through that. So but let's do these first. There's only been 2, so
Go ahead, Tyler. Answer the question. Is Henri less important to Kino than dragons?
yeah.
Answer truthfully.
Well,
wouldn't.
you can lie, but then they know it's a lie. Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Henri.
That's not a
That's
yes or
not a
no.
question.
That's not a yes or no answer.
It's too complex of an answer for me to
Answer yes
no.
or no.
No.
All right. So if
Is that a lie?
if so that's the thing. If you say no, now you just have to give up is that a lie? And if it's complex in the sense that the answer truly is that the dragons really are more important, however you feel bad about it, and you know that you should feel bad about it, and it's super complex for you, you still have to say it's a lie.
That was a no too. I'm not gonna say yes or no.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's
Okay.
such bullshit.
So then you guys know. Then that's your answer. Because he was being honest about that, obviously, but you or she, but you now know the answer then.
If you won't answer, then we know your answer.
Yeah.
Then you can believe whatever you want.
Henri looks fucking heartbroken. Like she's gonna just stare off into space and not really respond after that.
Guys, it's not like I've always been here
Enough.
for all of you.
Let's go. We need to get out of town.
Wait,
So
what?
Abel, the most amazing device you've ever seen is now kind of like you have to go away from it.
Abel, I'm
Everyone's
sorry to
gonna-
tell you, but if we don't leave, the dragon's gonna kill us.
No, that's not what I
How's it
said.
gonna
Enough
kill
from
us?
you, Kino. Enough from you. You can speak
How's
later.
it gonna kill us?
I go in the back.
Abel, we need to leave.
So Abel, that's what you know. So Abel knows this privately, and you can explain this in a second. All you have to do is keep this barrier up. That dragon's probably not gonna be able to get in.
Yeah,
Abel's
he's
like,
outside the shield.
yeah. Abel's like, I could stay here all day. Like, they can try whatever.
Do you prefer to stay with the machine?
Then
the rest of us are going to
just run
go.
away for.
So Abel, the other thing that you know is that remember you have a plan with the Modron.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I want to figure this thing out.
But you do have a way to get back theoretically. As long you can keep the barrier up for now, you know this, and program the Modron to get you back in. Now you do have to tell me exactly how you plan to do that, but yeah.
Abel, I don't want to leave you here, but I can't force you to come with us.
I could sending the Modron, couldn't I?
Theoretically. You could test it right now. It does seem like a targetable creature, so you just have to do a sending to it and see if it answers you.
Oh, so Henri climbed in the backpack. She's gonna like peek out and No, actually, I don't think this would be enough to get her out of her funk. She wouldn't say anything.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
So I need your decision, Abel. I'm not going
What's
to
that?
drag you out, but we need to leave
Where are you dragging me?
away from here. I'm not going to drag you, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I know, but like, where matters.
We're going to where brother is. I forget where that is.
Premier. The last place you knew he was at was Premier.
We're going to go find brother.
Yeah, do you guys think the tensions are high now? Wait till brother finds out all of this stuff. It's gonna be.
Oh,
I can't wait.
Shit.
Yeah.
John's gonna show up
Hey,
at my
I think
house.
I'm gonna stay here.
I
Me-
wish you wouldn't.
Let
I
me
wish
know
you'd
when
come
you
with
know
us.
what it is. I'll continue working on this. When you know where it is, I should be able to get right there with using this thing.
Abel, if you stay here, you're not safe.
I'm not.
The
Probably
dragon
not.
knows that there's other people in town.
You might be safe inside this barrier, but you're going to have to leave to find food or water, right?
Well, what Abel's telling you is that he thinks he can use the teleport to get to where you are. Now, here's the complications. Abel, your plan is pretty solid. That said, you do need to just keep in mind that wherever they are, you need to coordinate sending and then use your teleport with that 25% chance of mishap. But it's pretty safe. 75% chance is pretty good. So for
Well, I have
example,
my teleport or this machine.
well, the machine, right? You just don't exactly like that. That machine is bringing you to worlds. One of the functions could very well be something like
I
that.
realize that.
Yeah.
Abel believes he will figure this out,
I see.
and it'll all unravel as a mystery does before him by the time
Right.
they need him.
Right. You also have your teleport anyway. You have your teleport no matter what as a backup once a day. I think that's what Abel's communicating to the party, though, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, he feels like he can catch up with them. He's safe here.
Yep.
There's a reason for him to be here. Against, let's go someplace.
Grin is going
I think you'll be
to
safe.
Grin is going to approach Abel and shake his hand.
Yep.
I don't understand most of what you talk about, but
Mhm.
you've been pivotal in the success of the party, and I hope that this isn't goodbye forever. I don't
I hope
trust
not
this
too.
barrier as much as you do, but thankfully you know more about it than I do. And we'll try and give you word when we're somewhere safe.
So Abel, if the intention of this is to use this as the new base of operations for the party, that's totally fine. You need to come up with a plan. If that is the plan, you
I
are the
don't think
smartest in
that's
the
his
group.
intention.
Okay. All right. Okay.
His
Cool.
intention is he probably is best following his abilities to figure out what this thing does. That would be
Yep.
a great use to whatever our endeavors are.
Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable too. Yep.
Grin doesn't fully understand
And
everything that
it
just
seems
happened.
totally viable to him.
Yep.
So,
Gotcha.
Grin doesn't fully understand everything that just happened. He just feels like staying here is death.
Right.
And so him leaving Abel here is leaving him in a dangerous place.
Now, Cormier's
I
a very big town, Abel.
Mm.
So even if tomorrow you cannot figure out how to teleport through this machine, which you may or may not be able to do, you can again teleport to Khmer easily with a 25% mishap. You can once you get into sending, you can even get into the exact places of where Khmer is. I will allow you to express this to the party since you're obviously incredibly smart. Khmer's a huge town. You know where it's at on the map. You can do it. 25% chance of
Would I be able
access.
to would I be able to like express anything on the map or like explain
Yep.
cities to him to lower that?
Once you get over there and you use sending, yes. It doesn't
Okay.
take the mishap chance done because he's never been there. What it does is it gives him a specific place to teleport into, which is very, very, very
you can either let me
useful.
know right where to teleport or where you want me to meet you.
Right.
And I could probably, honestly, I'm above a lake. I can fly and I can swim.
Yep.
I don't know how long
Like
it's going
if
to
I
take us to get
miss,
there, is my worry. It's going to be
how long will it
days.
take?
Khmer is not. That's the complication, Abel. Khmer is not. It's more than a day's worth of travel. Several days worth of travel.
I don't know
Do
how
you
you're
want
going to
the
get
teleport
food
thing?
and water.
But of course, Abel, you could teleport them to Khmer. That's what you're trying to say. Like you're like, guys, I could take you. We only got a 25% chance of something bad happening, and even then, I can mitigate a lot of those things. Otherwise, it's gonna be a couple weeks of travel to get to Cormier through dangerous territory.
Oh, I think we wanted to make a few pit stops
I just
anyway.
want to check one thing.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, Chris, I sent you a text.
Oh, also, we're still waiting on the response from Karsus, correct?
If so, John, I'll just answer you here. If teleport happens, yes. If teleport does not happen, no. So if teleport happens, we need to talk, obviously, like after this or whatever. But if teleport does not happen, there's no guarantee that's happening next session.
Yeah,
It
I'll
could take
respond it.
two sessions, yeah, at least. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
Whatever we decide, we have to go.
I mean, the teleport, we wanted to make a few pit stops on the
Yeah,
way there.
actually, Grind, I just recently learned to be able to create food and water.
Okay.
So I will be safe in that regard. I'm just gonna stand here and study until you guys need me, I guess.
That does make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, by the way, John. But again, unfortunately, it just really depends on what the party does. So,
Yeah.
There is just so everyone knows this out of character, especially Yuli. If you guys teleport, you'll get to Cormier and everything's like wraps up easily. If you don't teleport, I cannot guarantee that there will not be one session or even 2 sessions of travel, because as you guys will see, the overland travel does get detailed. It's not a free like I can go anywhere I want on the map. There's so much that you will encounter and overcome, and it's very important it stays that way because all of the hooks are set to travel as well. So like it's super important that we play it that way. So just keep that in mind. If you teleport, you're in Cormier next session. If you don't teleport, it could take 2 sessions to get to Cormier.
How
Or
do
maybe
you guys
more.
want to do it?
Yep.
I mean, I could even, well, I wouldn't be able to catch up with you, but I could give you the timepiece as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Enable, if you're ever needed, that's the other thing. As long as you have sending, the nice thing about this is that let's say it does take more than a session and you decide, well, this is kind of boring. I want to be with the party, or the party needs me, or the party's about to die. I really need to get there. Then you also teleport. Of course, 25% chance you mishap into a wall. That's gonna suck. But but I mean, whatever. But the reality is that's always on the table. You can always, as a last ditch effort, try to get to them. But you
Do you
will
have a way
uncover a
to
lot of things
contact
by
us?
traveling.
Do I have a way to contact you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can message. Let me check. What level is it?
Message is lower level, I believe, right? Second level or
Message is a
something?
cantrip. Sending is a level 3 spell.
Oh, sending is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Could you do message with your tool?
I could.
Yep.
Okay.
But message is one of those. I think we're looking at it. Message is not for like a travel. I could have swore there's something up with message.
There's a range on it, isn't there?
There, and I think you have to see the person or something. I don't think message is as free as you guys
Site,
think
but
it
it's
is.
only 500 feet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh.
Message is not going to work. It's sending.
Oh, I really wouldn't have a way to reach you.
Someone needs to do that for him. They need to send it, and he can respond. Yeah.
Then we will try to contact you once a day to make sure you're okay.
I mean, you don't have to do it that much unless you want to.
I do want to.
I'm
You
gonna
mean a
be
lot
here, and
to,
eventually he's gonna. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you mean a lot to me in the group. So
Thank you.
Kino's gonna stand up and she's gonna wipe her eyes
I
and
really do commend you on your role playing, by the way, Lee. You're doing a great job. I love the awkwardness. I love it. You want to so bad to feel. I love it. I love it.
Kino's gonna walk over to Abel, and even if she tries to push him off, or even if he tries to push her off, she's gonna give him a big hug. And
He'll cringe a little.
I'm gonna miss you. Please stay safe.
Being here, I'll be safe.
Please be safe. Don't be seen. You know I love all of you.
Is he specifically or she? What is the dragon?
She.
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 Only Kino knows that. That's why I was trying to be vague. But Kino knows it's a she.
It's a she.
Is she specifically looking for people in here?
She's not super thrilled that there's people in this town.
Mhm.
Just promise me you'll stay safe.
I will. I'll mostly be studying and tinkering in here. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything big and loud. Or if it's loud, it'll probably be,
If you gotta
really
leave,
bad.
try and teleport. Try not to use that side. She likes to stay in the water. And
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
She like this
Yeah.
thing? To the
I
whole
told her-
orrery?
I told her it's powerful. I told her she probably shouldn't destroy it, or else it will take probably the rest of the town and her horde with it. And I know that's what no dragon wants.
Okay. Don't want it to come to that, but I could kind of threaten her horde by blowing it up.
I think that would be a terrible idea. Never do that, please.
Actually blow it up or threaten her to do it.
Either.
Able to you, logically, it makes sense. You're like, she doesn't want her treasure to go away, so.
I'm gonna
okay.
try to avoid her. I will tell you this.
I think that's the
If I
best
get
option.
pressed, that's a possibility. I would try to explain that I'm here to help fix it and understand it, and maybe that's enough for her, but I don't know.
Yeah, as a
There's
genius,
always a plan
as a
B too.
as a genius, Lee, or Abel, I should say, as a genius, you're pretty sure that the dragon would see you as insignificant and the horde is not. You got a solid plan. It goes to kill you. You will fuck its horde up, and you're pretty sure the dragon won't take your insignificant life for the horde. I mean, you don't know if you're right, but as a genius, you think
Right,
that's the
yeah, he feels
yeah.
confident about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
If it were anyone else, I wouldn't leave them here alone, but I trust you to know more about what you're doing than I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for everything.
Okay. So if I'm done and don't hear for you for some reason, that's a bad thing too, but you're gonna be in Cormier. You need me to help get you there? Do you need to borrow the timepiece? How do you
I don't want to leave you
No,
with
no.
a
If you
way,
use the,
with
if
no
you,
way out.
yeah, be very clear. If you use the timepiece, you're going with them. If you give them the timepiece, you're right now you're stuck. If you give them the timepiece, you're really stuck.
Keep the timepiece. We'll walk.
okay? You should rest here unless the dragon's making you leave now.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think we have time to rest here.
Yeah. We should go.
Okay, so the plan is you guys travel on foot. Is that correct?
Yeah, Grin's gonna shake Abel's hand again, and then he's
Mm-hmm.
going to. He's gonna tell Kino to lead the way out of the city.
Before I go, I'm gonna turn to Abel and the Modron, and I'm gonna look up at the orrery one last time. And can you tell me the date?
You can't yet, Abel. You don't know.
Does the
You said
Modron know?
someday you'll be able to. Oh, do you want to ask the Modron the date? Of course. Yeah.
Is
You
that
just
all
can't
right,
use the
Abel?
machine to figure it out yet.
Yeah, if I think he's capable of answering that, I would ask.
Now the only problem is that if you ask it now, it's doing it at peril. But yes. I know it's a simple question. Kino, what you think is you can just ask. I mean, you can either ask the Modron at peril, or you can just ask someone in town, the next town you're over, what the date is.
Okay, I'll just ask. Thank you again, Abel.
You're welcome. See you in a little while.
Up to God.
Be safe out there.
Yep. All right. So the way this will work mechanically is that Abel, you'll be able to get to the party whenever you feel like it, but you are going to, but a couple things are going to happen. Number one, the party in peril is going to have to send you a sending. Otherwise, they're sending you a sending every day as well. That sending, are you guys saying that you're going to do it at the same time every day? What are you saying?
Yes.
Or is it random?
No, same time every day.
Okay. And okay. And so make that decision before you leave. And then Abel, when it comes down to it, like when you get bored being there or whatever, or because we don't know how many sessions they will be out, you can literally use the timepiece whenever you feel like it. But you need to have a sending to be able to get to where their location is. Just keep that in mind. You need that sending. So
I feel like Abel would probably, if he's just transporting himself,
Yep.
would try to aim over a lake, so
Yep.
it's a nice space, and just fly before he does it. And boom.
Oh yeah, and if this is Cormier, great. The problem is it
So if
might
it's
take more
up,
than one
down,
session.
left, right, he's pretty much fine.
The problem is it may take more than one session. So next session, if you'd like to go with the group, just remember we need that sending in order for them to tell you where they're at. Because for all you know, next session, I'll give you an example. Next session, for all you know, and this is probably not going to happen since I'm revealing it, but let's give you a worst case scenario. They go up into past Waterdeep. Arcane Brotherhood jumps them, and the entire party is about to die. You know, to get you to where they're about to be, they need to be able to send that sending to you. Just keep that in mind, and that's where you'll be able to have a teleport. And then, of course, with varying degrees of success, but for the most part, you're probably going to have a 25% chance. You're pretty familiar with this whole area right now, so that's the good news.
Thankfully, Waterdeep's the
obvious-
opposite direction.
Right, exactly. That's why I used it. Exactly right. That
Mm.
said, when it comes down to figuring out the machine, obviously there's way more about this machine, so you don't know what's in the future with the machine anyway. So that's what you'll be doing on the downtime. So this place is a perfectly good place theoretically to even form a base for you, even personally, Abel. It is. I mean, it's
Oh, it's
protected.
just where he grew up. I mean, you know.
Exactly. It's protected, it's familiar, and it's going through it. You need to do a lot of work. Right now, it's a bunch of crappy ship parts that are all broken and everything with this amazing device in the center of it. But yeah. So,
There's also no people and only automatons. I mean,
yeah. Yep. Yep. Anyway, so that's where we'll leave it. So very specifically, brother, I don't necessarily think brother is coming back next session. That said, I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. I could always be wrong.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. It depends on how fast you guys travel and what you get through and which ways you go. There's so many variables I don't know. This could take 4 sessions. I don't know. So, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Are we taking a short rest outside the city? Or a long rest, I mean.
If
What
you
time of
do,
day is it right now?
yeah, I need to get the map up too, guys. I don't even have access
The
to
map's
it. So.
on
isn't there
concept
the
boards.
place we hold up just out of off
Oh,
the map?
you that's right. You have the map up the other place. That's awesome. Yeah, let me get to that. Too.
The tannery. I mean, is that far enough away for the dragon or no?
I think that would be fine.
If it's early in the day, we should travel as much as the day allows before we rest.
This is so bizarre. Do you guys remember what the concept board password is? Do you have it? Is it pinned?
It's
If
pinned.
not, I can find it.
It's
I
Icewind
looked.
Dale 270 exclamation point, I believe.
That's what I thought. Yep. I didn't get the exclamation point. I don't know why it kicked me out. Huh? That doesn't work.
Yeah, capital I, capital D, 278, exclamation point. It is pinned on the general game chat channel.
Our
Okay.
board now. We have the
that
power.
must be why. Yep, that must be why. That must
We've
be
taken
why.
it over.
All of Faerun has belonged to us.
What's weird though? What's super weird? This is weird. Even when I go to, by the way, general game chat, look at every single pinned message, I still actually do not see.
It is.
Oh no, it's there. It's the
from,
password's there.
yeah,
The password's there.
from March.
Yeah, it's because it thinks I have the wrong login. That's why. Hold on.
Actually, if I could have,
Yep.
I'm just reading how Create Food and Water works.
Yep.
I have cast that before they left and helped them load up their packs with food.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You can do that.
Huh.
And let me in.
And then they'd
That's
see that I have food for myself too.
So I know for next session anyway. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna help a little bit. What is the general path that you guys want to take? If you change your mind, it's okay. But in general, well, like what ideas were you thinking of as far as like moving?
I would say take the main road, the tradesway,
Yep.
Yeah.
all the way to the fork, and then the northern fork. Grin would love to split
Into
off.
the desert and valley. You want to do that? Is that the right fork I'm looking at? This doesn't mean this is a bad choice. Are you
Well, then
going desert and
I'll
valley
draw
fork
it.
or?
I'll
Yep.
draw it.
Yep. Okay.
And then Grin would love to
that's why I
split
was
off.
confused. I was like, holy shit, you guys are going the other way. Okay, that makes
Grin
more
would love to
sense.
split there and go north towards his home.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the plan is to see the Berrybeards
Yep.
on the way to Cormier.
Okay. Yep.
And then I
See,
don't know where in
that's already
Cormier
a
we're
little
supposed to go,
unexpected.
but like, do we know where in Cormier we're even going?
All you have so far is that he is in Cormier. You need to send you basically all that needs to happen is you just need a little more communication with brother.
So if we can get to Highhorn here,
Right, because that's the
and
thing.
then
Cormier is a
contact him again.
large place. That's what I did. That's what I wanted to basically. That's why I was trying to get your real plan from Lee and everything too. Because I mean, so what if you teleport into King's Forest? You guys might like. It turns out the brother might literally be in the Golden Ruins. Like you don't know. But that's why brother was super busy when you messaged him. That's why you're just gonna have to do sending and get exactly where he's at, what city, like all that stuff. Because Cormier is its own huge area.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you'll
we can
see.
figure that out.
You'll see.
But that
But
is
once
the
you get
route.
in, but that makes sense. That makes total sense. And if you do change your mind, no big deal.
That is the
But
route
that,
Grin would like to take.
yeah.
And with brother gone and him not really talking to Kino right now, not really taking suggestions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honor,
Yeah,
did you
there's
cast?
so much in this location. That's why I honestly, guys, this could be I don't even know how many sessions. We'll see. There's so much. We could do a whole session in Grin's place, so we'll see.
Look at that, Tom. It might still be there. A whole session. You can't do a whole session in a crater.
You can easily.
Jen?
Well, should I like give you information about his family, or will it matter?
Yeah. If you could, please, because I have my own ideas of that area, and I want them to jive with what you think is there. Yeah, absolutely.
Jiving.
So they
Yeah.
are alive, is what you're saying.
Well, we'll see.
Oh no, no,
see.
Chris, please.
Because here's the
Please.
thing. Because here's the thing. Just so you know, in that whole area, there is a very I don't. Did you even know about the city that exists? The city that's on the edge in the middle of it. It's okay if you
No,
didn't. It doesn't matter. But
I always just thought of his family being in some gnome village in the Trialta Hills.
yeah. That's what I expected too. It's
Some
just
little
there's
hamlet,
awesome
you know?
stuff within the city as well, and yeah. So give me the information that you are envisioning in this, so I can add it to everything that's already really there, and we'll get that set up. But like I said, there's
Yeah.
so much in just this area.
I will do that before next time.
Thanks. Like I mean, there's fucking so much here. So
Also, do I need to do anything to adjust for, I guess, potentially being out of?
It really depends because this is on you. It's really on you, Lee. It depends on that. That's the thing. Here's the truth. The truth is that you can get back to the party anytime you really want to, as long as you're willing to use the teleport. So the answer is no. At the same time, though, keep that in mind. I know this is a balance between what your character would do and everything else, but it's going to get really boring if we do have to spend a couple sessions away. So if you can think of a justification for him to teleport and come to the guys, that would be great.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be good stuff. So